camera yet. And so I had to do that, and so it was it was rolling through the different people as I'm plugging in the camera.
So this is on Omegle. Okay.
Yeah, I got an Omegle to fuck around for like Omegle, right? And I didn't have the camera plugged in, and it automatically picked up OBS's virtual camera, but it was just showing like the OBS symbol.
The symbol.
And as I'm plugging the camera in, so the next person skips me, and it's on like banned. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's probably Omegle banning you because they don't want you to like stream
but
something.
that happens a lot. That happens a lot. And then even Omegle will give like warnings to the person that you're going to, saying, "Hey, this camera might be a virtual camera," letting you know it's kind of like fake. But I've never like you see the same virtual camera pop up multiple times.
It's that slapping you've been fucking promoting probably.
I don't know. Oh,
the Matrix attacked you, bro.
The Matrix has attacked.
Every person, he's like, "Are you from what?"
Wales. Yeah. Sheep shack. Bro, that shit was so funny. But I don't know. I hadn't been doing that like for the past couple of days when I would get on for a little bit, and then I think it had something to do with the virtual camera.
Probably.
I think so.
No, it was that dude you were talking to, the juicer.
Oh, bro.
That conversation got too deep.
Yeah.
Omegle tried to shut it down so many times, and you kept finding each other.
You know, the 2 times that it froze that we were talking, it was after a long time, over like an hour of us talking. Right. And I think that it might have been like a timing
What were you talking about?
Bro, okay, so it was
gear and shit?
It was pretty...
By the way, welcome back, guys. GhettoRig, episode number 48. We knew we were online. Don't think that we're just having a conversation. It was just the story was going to like just fucking start streaming, and then we'll go from there. Yeah.
So I talked to that guy.
Oh, by the way, we do have some guests. They're gonna join later. Yada yada yada. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Go.
Same as always. Alex is in. You know how it is. Anyway, so I was talking to that guy. I mentioned him on Tuesday, Maurice, but I didn't mention how the conversation went kind of dark. You know, he's kind of like a weird fellow. I'd say that.
Oh, that's the conspiracy dude.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's on some alternative platforms.
Yeah, kind of thing. He's like only on Odyssey or whatever it is.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, which is owned by Google. It's literally a YouTube. It's the same thing as it's it's spelled
ODYSEE.
Yeah.
So
it's basically YouTube.
Why not Rumble?
But supposedly no censorship.
Well, why not Rumble?
But it's also owned by Google.
That's
Odyssey's owned by Google since 2015.
That's funny.
Yeah, but
you get to earn a cryptocurrency if you get monetized on Odyssey instead of whatever YouTube's platform is.
There's other ways because YouTube will charge I think 30% for all the donations and things like that. But there are other websites that people can donate and they only take 3%. You know what I mean?
Well, Odyssey likes to pride themselves on not censoring, so
well, that's what
neo-Nazis and shit like that get hard on
Rumble,
there.
Don't you have to subscribe to see any of the content
on Rumble?
Yeah, it's all paid content, isn't it? Like OnlyFans. I mean, you probably have free, but
no, you're talking about Patreon.
Okay.
Yeah, Rumble is a free site. They do have like they do have subscription bases, like YouTube, right? Well,
also different tiers.
You get like unlocked YouTube.
It's YouTube stuff without censorship, basically. So
they still censor. Rumble still censor.
Yeah. Well, censor a little bit, but like Nick Fuentes, for example, they won't censor him. Nick Fuentes, they won't censor him.
But look, anyways, we were talking about this guy. I felt bad almost kind of saying his name. It's all right. There's so many more races in the world. He's from London. He's pretty sketched. It was funny because it was a pretty normal conversation we had for the majority of the time. Then it started with juicing,
turned.
Right? Alex is absolutely right. The moment it turned was when he's like, have you heard about juicing? And I was like, okay, are you talking about roids? Or are you trying to call me fat? That was one of the two reactions I had. Like, he's trying to suggest life changes to me. And then, no, he kind of just went into juicing and then how like, something about how our bodies are all, like, making sure our bodies are in the right condition is what it's about when it comes to getting sick. Something about how, since he's made this change, he hasn't had any kind of sickness in 10 to 15 years, this and that, da-da-da. And that COVID is bullshit, that it's just another cold.
So here's the thing about juicing, right? when people say juicing,
and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, when people say juicing, you're talking about juicing like bodybuilders,
like breaking down
like
fruits
fruit.
and vegetables into liquid form.
No. I'm talking about the other juicing. I'm talking about
that's
gear.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Gear, right? When he said juicing, have you heard about juicing? That's the first thing that came to my brain was either he's trying to make life changes, like actual juicing, or the first thing actually was the gear thing. Like, is he talking about steroids? And then he's like, no, like blending fruit and stuff like that. And then I was like, oh, he's coming at me because I'm fat. Okay. And then he just went into this whole thing.
So that's where here's one thing. Like, let's just get this on a ground level. So what do fruits have that's plenty of inside of fruit? Fiber and
sugar.
And this thing that's called fructose, right? So fructose is not necessarily sugar because fructose is not glucose, right? So the glucose goes through a cycle in your mitochondria and that produces what's called ATP. That's your powerhouse, right? Now, the first step in that cycle is breaking down glucose to fructose. So technically, it is sugar, but it is more processed sugar. So here's the bottom line. If you sit down and eat, let's say, 10 to 15 grapes, your insulin levels are going to spike, but they're going to spike a little bit. If you eat, let's say, a handful of fucking berries, your insulin level is going to spike, but they're going to spike a little bit. But if you sit down and eat 1 fucking pound of grapes or 2 pounds of fucking berries, it's the same goddamn thing as eating a candy. Because you are getting a lot of sugar. So those people that say juicing, when they're squeezing the shit out of the fucking fruit and just taking the juice. Now, let's say you want a cup of...
Destroying all the fiber.
Destroying all the fiber, number one. Number two, if you want a cup of fucking apple juice, you need minimum 5 to 6 apples. Imagine sitting down and fucking chomping down 5 to 6 apples. You're going to be fucking sick to your stomach.
Yeah, fuck that.
You know what I mean?
2, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. So even...
The guy even... I asked him about... Because I saw, Joey Diaz talk about him. It's Monday, cocksucker.
Yeah.
He was talking with Joe Rogan. He was like, "Did you know that when you eat?" He's like, "You know how bad."
I'm listening. I'm gonna turn
the difference between like a banana, like eating a banana and like juicing the banana. He said, "Look, I juiced a banana. I gained weight that week." And then he's like, "What?" He's like, "Look, like the whole point system for like nutrition and all the time." He says, "When you eat a banana, he said when you juice a banana, guess how many points?" He goes, "What? 8, right?" And he goes, "When you eat a banana straight up, it's nilch." And I was like, okay, what the fuck? He goes on to, because your body counteracts because it has to process that and therefore wasting energy on it. And probably getting more nutrition out of it as well because you're getting, it's not already partially, I guess you could say processed in a sense. And then I asked him about that, and he was kind of just like, well, but at the same time, you have to look in at like the amount of nutrition you can get in by juicing because you can eat so much more, right?
So talking about bananas, he's absolutely correct. When the banana is ripe, it's full of sugar. But when banana is kind of greenish, and you can see just a blemish of yellow, that's called basically green banana. Because if it's fully green, you can't eat it. Yeah, there's no way you can eat it.
But when it's like a little green, it's kind of like you can taste the healthiness.
Yeah, you definitely taste the healthiness. But if it's green and it has a little like in the middle of the the parts in the middle starts getting yellower, that's the banana you want to eat. So they've done some research, and they've discovered that kind of banana can prevent cancer. So that's actually very healthy for you. Number 2, it has a lot of fiber in it, and that fiber basically converts into starch and becomes sugar as the banana ripens. Okay. So it's actually healthier to eat the fucking banana when it's green. Anyway, the point here is Joey Diaz is right. When you fucking squeeze in that apple, because they tell you should eat a apple the size of your fist or smaller. That's like 1 portion of the fucking apple. Yeah. Now imagine juicing apples to get a 1 cup of juice. That's 5-6 fucking apples. How many grams of fructose you just consumed?
He's like, this morning I juiced like 15 oranges, some shit like that. He's like, imagine trying to eat 15 oranges. And I was like, okay, but it doesn't sound good that you had to juice and drink 15 oranges at the same time, right? Like,
I have vitamin C sensitivity.
Yeah.
The reason being is, a little kid, I loved fucking oranges. I sat down and I ate 2 pounds of fucking oranges. Since that day, I cannot consume more than half an orange or a little bit of lemon, because it gives me right away. I have sensitivity. It gives me hives right away. You know what I mean? So all that juicing is bullshit. But if you want to talk about the actual juicing, right? Like what the steroid use and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Now,
that's
I would not suggest anyone to do this. This is not a advice, nor am I a doctor. But the bottom line is this.
AKA, this nigga don't know shit. But listen.
Yeah, I don't know shit. Well, they shouldn't take advice from me, right? Yeah. Like, they're doctors.
Please consult an physician if you want to use here.
Final print.
And or test and or.
Yeah, final print. You might get body dysmorphia, other things, you know what I mean? So this is what's happening. Right now, they're doing tests and have tested and they saw that our testosterone levels as males is going down. Yeah. Overall, it's going down.
We talked about this the other day.
Yeah, and the reason...
I actually went to my sister yesterday and I was like, hey, I want you to schedule another physical for me because I want to go in and get blood work done.
Test levels done?
Get my test levels checked.
And for the test...
She goes, but at your age, it'll be through the roof. And I was like, but I want to know. He's like, and I was like, doctor doesn't test for that? He's like, no, because at your age, your levels should be through the roof. And I was like, but that's kind of just like...
That's the point.
Too much assumption that it's going to be through the roof. You know what I mean? Like, I get that the majority, maybe if you go and test all the men my age, 98% are going to be through the roof. But it's just like, what a year, that 2%. Yeah. You kind of want to know, right?
I mean, a lot of medicine these days are outdated books that doctors just stick to because they have to.
Yes.
Got you. It's we talked about I was listening to Neil talk about like Big Bang Theory and all. He's like, how, like the guy asked him basically like, why do you think that all the theories around Big Bang and that come with it and prove it kind of to be right, and other theories prove to be right because of Big Bang, vice versa, like all rely on each other, and this information just comes to be more and more true as we look into it. And he goes, well, think about it. These scientists have been like basically counteracting that for so long, right? Trying to figure out a little more of like a sensible like resolution, or trying to say something else, that it's gonna be just hard for like them to flip the switch. You know what I mean? Regardless if they believe it or not. Yeah. Regardless if they believe it or not and know it to be 100% true, just like society to see the change as that's the new truth, takes so long for that process to go down.
So with the testosterone levels, right? So this is it's a multi-pronged issue. This is what's happening. Number one, BPA's in our food, right? Everything is wrapped in plastic, and they've already said that it's not just correlation causation, it's actual causation. Like the BPA actually lowers your levels of testosterone. Number one. Number two, being around a lot of electronics and raising your body temperature up. Let's say you have your laptop on your lap, that raises your temperature up, and that messes with basically your fucking gonads, right? Like if the temperature goes up, it automatically starts killing the sperm in your gonads, and by that also decreasing the level of testosterone. Number three, we don't do as much physical activity. Back in the day, there were fucking wars. People were constantly placed in like fight or flight situations, which made them actually actively, their body produce testosterone for survival. We don't have that anymore because right now, an average person lives better than any rich person has ever lived throughout the history. Like if you go back 100 years, right? So because we don't have that flight or fight, our body doesn't produce as much testosterone anymore. So your natural levels of testosterone are going down, right? So one way to increase that is by actively participating in some sort of a sport as a guy, like which puts you in a combat mode. When somebody's actively trying to pursue you, like beat you up or something like that, where you have to turn on those markers to start producing levels of testosterone. Just by simply lifting weights will increase your testosterone level, right? But we don't do that. So the next best thing is either...
Question.
Go ahead.
You said your testosterone increases if you put yourself in a fight or flight mode.
Yes, it does.
So what if you're one of those people who, when they jerk off, they hold their breath until they come? That kind of puts you in a,
autoerotic asphyxiation.
I never heard of that.
Is that technically...
Hold your breath until you come.
Yeah.
Or hang yourself a little bit
what's it
with
called
a belt.
Again?
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
Asphyxiation.
Now, I don't know about that.
Like, you've seen that shit in the movies, right? When they like walk in on the weird kid in the closet, he's got his belt wrapped around his neck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you've heard of that.
Do you think a lot of suicides aren't actually suicides? Maybe it was just some guy trying to jerk off.
It's just an accident. Jerking off.
Oh my God.
You know.
So I don't know about that because the amount of time you would be with that. Now we're not condoning any of this shit, right? Like, go get a girlfriend. Don't do that.
I don't know. If that tickles your fancy, man, go for it.
Nah, go get a girlfriend. So what I'm trying to say...
Okay, that's an easy way out. That's an easy way out.
Huh?
Look at the GIF.
So what I'm trying to say is, like, it's. I don't think it's enough time. You have to be in that extensive stress-inducing situation, like a combat situation that's gonna last for a bit for your levels to constantly stay up, and it has to be on a daily basis, right? Like,
so what do you suggest we do? Do we
sports?
So do we tackle multiple problems, but maybe
no, not stress, not mental stress, but physical stress. It has to be physical stress.
So hear me out. This is my idea. We have a big problem of homelessness in St. Pete, right?
Yes.
What if we start battling the homeless for money?
Battling the homeless with money?
Whoa.
Bum fights was already a thing. I think it got shut down.
Now, see, that will increase the bum's testosterone levels, but not yours. You know what I mean? So for you would need to do some sort of combat.
You definitely want to get in shape, right? You want to do a boot camp before you try and fight the homeless.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I feel like some people think of this as like, oh, it's such bullshit. But I'm guarantee you go ask anybody who practices martial arts, and they'll probably agree with me. I think that shit is a life-changing experience.
100%.
And it's not like something you need to do.
What, doing martial arts?
Just any martial art. Go do something for 8 months. That will change you. And I mean that in a way that, like I said, you don't have to do this for life. You don't have to go and dedicate years to this. But that experience, it's not about protecting yourself. There's a certain kind of discipline, respect, and the
me is you learn a lot of what would you call it? Humility. Because you get your ass beat.
Yeah, that's something.
I've already thrown up multiple times. Yeah, it breaks you down.
Yes, but then what? So think of it this way: what happens when they catch a wild horse? They have to break the wild horse first, and then they make it into this perfect machine that's willing to run into combat no matter what happens. The horse is going right, like, so that's what happens with you. They first you start, they don't break you down in combat sports. You start breaking down, and
you go listen to every like a big fighter, right? And they talk about, oh yeah, when I first went to this gym, what's the first thing they say? Yeah, I first went to the gym and they all beat the shit out of me. Mm-hmm. Like that's like mostly the first thing that comes out.
As they should. They should beat your ass.
They should. They should. And I was listening to Cedric Doumbé. You know who Cedric Doumbé is? The kickboxing champion. Mm-hmm. So he actually got into MMA now. He's got a 4-0 record with the PFL. This was a podcast from a little while ago, and he was still kickboxing at the time, and he projected he wants to go to the UFC. He wants to go to MMA, this and that. And he was talking about how he's still kickboxing. He's like, I already started my wrestling and like what they call their luta libre there, mm-hmm. which is like jiu-jitsu, but like Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And so he's like, I already train in that, and I go in there and I tap. I tap every day. He said, I tap every single day. I get tapped out. Yeah, and that's just how it should be. I really feel so. Like you need to have, I don't know, for example, I think this is a good skill that comes with it. If you can be calm and collected when someone is trying to choke you, or when someone is trying to crank your arm and actually not just fucking fight the
freak
arm,
out, yeah,
and just freak out. Actually think, okay, his positioning is here, his base is here. How the fuck I get out of here? And there's even times where like somebody would try to grab me for a kimura, and you have to think, okay, well I can fight the arm, but let's try to actually fight the whole position. Just get out of it completely. Like if I get him, if I break the grip, guess what? The arm's still fucking there.
Yes.
He's just gonna re-grip, or he's gonna at least try.
Yes.
So there's something about being calm and collected and focused on in those situations that it's another skill.
What those situations gonna teach you? You get armbarred or you get choked enough, you're gonna start realizing. You're gonna start putting the puzzle together. It's like, oh shit, he's going for this. Now you're gonna start counteracting before he even gets there. So your opponent has to think 2 steps ahead of you, and you have to think 2 steps ahead of him. So now that becomes a game. And then when they do tap you, you're not fighting at that point. They got it. Like, you giving it to them. Like, you know what? Kudos to you because you got it. Yeah. I did everything possible to avoid this, and you got it. It's yours. Yeah. Tap. Let's continue again, because no one is gonna go on Facebook and put it, I tapped Eddie. No. Eddie tapped me. Yeah. Blah blah blah. Nobody gives a shit about that. You know what I mean?
I am that guy that really does want to find a white belt now, like completely brand new. And I want to see what I can do with the three fucking moves I know.
But see, here's the statistic on this thing.
You have to understand, Miggy, if you get a day 1 white belt, you could be on your day 2 and you're gonna pull shit off. You're gonna
fuck him up.
Not because he doesn't know shit, ready? Because he doesn't even know how to use his pressure. Yes. For example, I had Natalie come at me when we were rolling, and I told her, look, remember those 3, because Natalie came on Sunday, right? I wanted to go into some other stuff that happened Sunday too. She came and she practiced with us, and she didn't really want to roll because she was kind of sketched out.
Yeah,
right?
Sketched out. Yeah, of course.
And I noticed there was a couple people rolling, and she was just standing there. And I was like, "Come here. You know those 3 positions you told you? I want you to try going side control, mount, and back take. And he showed you those, right? Those are the 3 dominant positions. You gain points in this sport. You don't know how to do anything to me. I want you to just try and get to those positions." Well, she did learn with us the anaconda choke, the DARS, and the rear naked choke. But you know how it is your first day.
Of course.
You don't retain any of that.
Yes, you don't.
So I told her just those positions. Try and go to. And she's like a little feather.
Yeah.
Like in any moment, I can just go, like, just push her back. They're so scared to like hurt themselves or hurt you.
Yeah.
They don't want to put pressure. They're just hesitant. It's just as simple as that.
So first day of training, like if it's somebody's first day of training, what I always make them I always make them do knee on belly, on me. Yeah. And when they do the knee on belly on me, I say, listen, shift your weight on that knee. They shift their weight on that knee, and they're kind of afraid. I'm like, no, put all of your weight on me. They'll put all their weight on me, and I'm like, now lift your foot off the ground.
That's the most important part.
Lift your foot off the ground.
She's too kind to hurt you in practice.
And they'll lift their foot off the ground, and I'm like, you see this now? You're not hurting me. Yeah. It's okay. I'm uncomfortable, but you're not hurting me. And I want you to remember this.
I think the key to Natalie is you just got to piss her off before going to practice. Just say some outlandish shit.
But here's one thing before we
continue. Start blasting her ex's music.
Yeah.
That's one way to do it.
Yo, I picked up her and Kevin that day. You imagine it just like clink. She's like, here's that fucking SoundCloud shit.
Natalie, next time
get there like a demon.
Natalie,
take it out, vent.
Natalie, next time you're doing
on the mat,
I'll be there on Sundays. Next time you come around, I'm gonna make you do a knee on belly on me, put all of your weight on me, and push it as hard as you can. And I promise you, it will not hurt me. I promise you that.
It doesn't hurt. It's just uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. But here's the thing, right? Like one quick statistic, and then we can continue with what we're talking about.
That overlay looks badass, Miguel. I like it.
So here's the statistic. No. If you do something for 15 minutes a day, whether it's playing music, playing a guitar, playing piano, martial arts, cooking, whatever it is, if you do that thing for 15 minutes a day for an entire year, you'll be better at that thing than 95% of the people on the planet.
I'm very good at beating my meat.
So you're better at it than 95% of the people on the planet.
Practiced.
You know how you put in those hours in the mat? Let's just say I put in that time in that bathroom, boy.
Yeah.
Can you come on control yet?
Can you come on control yet?
Not yet. I'm working on it. On it.
That's how you get broke into the industry. You walk up to the dude and you're like, "Hey, I hear you film. You ready?" And just come.
Yeah.
Then you're making money.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to put them talents to monetary.
You know what you call that? The money shot.
There you go.
So, let's talk about less gay shit.
Wait. Right, I wanted to go. So on Sunday, I forgot to tell you about this.
That's what I'm talking about. She says she'll try. Let's go.
So
there is no try. Only do or do not.
He pulls electric chair on me 3 times.
Aussie?
Yeah.
Of course he does.
Right? And then every time he would do it before even getting to the position, because me and him both got ham legs, right? When he would do the lockdown, bro, that shit would kill my calf. The moment he'd start shifting, bro, like right here, it felt like a calf slicer.
Calf slicer, yeah.
It literally feels like a calf slicer. Oh, I can't wait to fucking lock down. I'm not even going to go for the electric chair. I'm just going to pin them and extend. And you already know that's just going to be like... Because literally, like, after we rolled, we're about to pick up, and I go, Ozzy, wait, what the fuck were you doing? Because I keep hearing everybody, electric chair. I keep hearing Felix scream. And he goes to show me, and he shows me the lockdown. He says, look, it's like this. And then he goes to show me the electric chair, and as he's showing me, top, because he didn't even, and he's like, I don't even have the electric chair. I was like, bro, my calf is killing me right now. Yeah. You don't see how you have my calf in a spaghetti noodle in between your legs? And then he showed me the the way to get out of it. He's like, look, if anybody gets you in a lockdown, just stand up.
Yeah, just stand up.
Stand up. And I was
just
like,
literally just
and he
stand
goes, no, I can't do electric chairs on you anymore.
he was disappointed.
Yeah, he was kind of sad. As he says it, he's like, and now I'm not going to do that to you anymore.
So I think, we've gotten into jiu-jitsu. And this is not about jiu-jitsu. It could be kickboxing, it could be MMA, it could be fucking whatever it is, right? Like, as long as you do it 15 minutes a day, number one, that's going to build good habits, right? Like, there's this book, it's yellow, it talks about habits and things like that. And that's the whole premise of the book.
It's just
habits.
as simple as, look, you got into any sport. Eventually, there's going to be those days where you're like,
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to go.
I don't want to do it. Yeah.
Right? But guess what? You go.
Yes, because you know what's the best way?
Today, I got back from work, right? I back from work, and we removed the whole fucking kitchen today. I had a fucking cabinet fall on my leg. I got 2 bruises right here, right now. And I got back from work. I took a nap, and I woke up, and I was like, damn, do I just want to sit on my computer? Do I keep sleeping? And I was like, wait, no, I didn't hit the bag today. And so I fucking went and did. I didn't want to fucking do it. I'm hurting right now.
Yeah.
And I still went and did it for like a half hour.
Yeah.
It's just like you got to do it even though you don't want to.
So one thing that keeps me going back to jiu-jitsu on the days that I don't want to do it, I always like, man, I don't want to do it. And then I'll think about it. It's like, what if I didn't go and there was one person there that didn't have a pair? Like this person came in and they don't have somebody to roll with.
Holy crap,
you know what I mean?
You that's some selfless shit right there.
I know,
that's literally that's what makes me, like, whenever I don't want to go, that's the thing. That's the first thing I think about. And I'm like, bro, I go there, I help people, they're getting better, I'm gonna fucking go. Yeah. Like, that's what makes me go. So find whatever makes you go and use that. You know what I mean?
Hey, like good guy, Jay.
Yeah.
I'm not a dick. I'm not a dick, okay? Like, even though I put that on the camera, I'm not a dick, okay?
All right, we got to clip this right here so we can prove it to the internet.
One and only time, motherfuckers. One and only time.
The clip's going to say, nice boy Jay.
It happened on episode 48.
All right, guys, you ready? So I've got a life hack.
It only took 48?
So I got a life hack to all of those. So I don't want to hear anybody saying that Jay don't know how to cook, okay? I got a life hack, and y'all better take out pen, paper, whatever you gotta do.
I would say so.
You better take whatever you gotta do. Let's hope I don't fuck this up, bro.
I hope you're not gonna.
No pressure. You're just live on the internet.
Yeah. So what's the most annoying fucking thing about boiling eggs?
I don't eat boiled eggs.
Well, that's fine, but boiling eggs. What's the most annoying thing about boiling eggs?
Cracking the egg and deshelling it.
Cracking the egg and deshelling it, right? I think everybody could fucking agree.
Yeah.
So there is this hack how you do that. And here, folks, we have an egg, but I need you to listen closely. You have to listen closely, right? So what you do, you take the egg, which is unboiled first, right?
I was about to say, because
that's
a raw
spoon.
Egg, my boy. Yeah,
it is a raw egg.
Fucking whack that
Just open that shit.
It is a raw egg. You don't hit it hard, right? You're gonna start tapping the egg lightly to make noise, and then halfway through tapping, you're gonna hear this thing that's gonna go pop, right? It's gonna be a different type of a tone of noise, right?
Okay.
What that pop does, that, you know how it has like that membrane? Yes. It actually separates the membrane from the fucking shell.
Okay.
And when you do boil the egg, after the egg is done boiling, you take it out and it's super easy to peel. I tried this with a regular egg at home and quail eggs. And it worked. And I got the proof. I got the pictures. Right? So here we go. All right, we're going to go. So we're going to see this.
Wait, show it on camera. You're hiding behind the microphone.
So
okay, hold on. Hold on. You're good.
You just be on top of it.
Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Hold on. And there you go.
I'm interested.
You got to listen to it.
He's gonna listen to it.
I'm about to crank my headphones over here.
Harder.
That's it. It happened. Did you guys hear it? It happened.
I heard the clink. It was a little different. Yeah.
That's it. It's done. It's not crack. It's nothing. It's a different kind of clink. Once you get that clink,
it sounded like metal, right?
It sounded like it sounded like a twig breaking.
Just that membrane separating. That's cool as fuck.
Yeah. So the membrane's separated now, so it's going to be super easy to deshell this specific egg. And it's not cracked, nothing. But if you get the second crack, you crack the shell. You don't go too far.
So you hear that clink, and then you keep going, and then it's crack.
Yeah, yep, that's what's going to happen. So there you go, guys. Don't ever tell GhettoRig Pod doesn't bring you fucking life hacks. Life hack number 1.
We bring
for the
value.
episode number 48.
Variety and value.
God. Yeah, variety and value, right? So that's basically what it is. It's like a normal click, 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 and then it sounds like something's popping, pretty much, right? Like think of a rubber balloon popping.
Yeah.
So it pops and that's it. You heard it, right, Alex?
Yeah, I heard it.
Good,
I heard
good.
it.
Good. That means people heard it too. And sometimes it's quick. Pop is quick. Sometimes it takes some time for it to pop. So you just gotta be same amount of pressure. Just click, 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 click until it makes that pop.
Yo,
And
my
you must
ADD
be
would
vigilant.
get in the way. I would be like clink, 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 get distracted,
Pop!
and then crack, crack. Oh fuck!
Egg all over me. That's funny as fuck.
So now I don't know if this is fucking true or people generated an AI picture. So apparently this meme is running around the internet. Zuckerberg doing jiu-jitsu, which is true, but then they have a picture of Elon in jiu-jitsu gi.
Oh yeah? Nah, that's bullshit.
Yo.
Now I don't know if this is true or this is a fucking lie.
Let's look it up. Let's see if Elon's
I mean,
fucking
I
rolling.
People want it to
obviously
happen.
Zuckerberg.
He's doing jiu-jitsu.
Zuckerberg-
Zuckerberg, if I
got a silver and gold medal in his
he did.
in his
if
tournaments.
I had
He
to
also
put my
did
money, I would
complain.
put it on Zuckerberg. Now, I wouldn't doubt that Elon would go as far as to implant his own Neuralink to give him some fucking
Advantage.
karate and jiu-jitsu
Yo, the
like
fucking-
style,
he's
bro.
Morbius.
Downloading
He's
now.
Morbius.
Fucking
He's
Morbius.
He's Neo. He's
This
Neo.
motherfucker is the Matrix.
So I don't know. I saw the meme. The meme is going around like who you got? Is it Elon? Is it Zuck? You know what I mean? You know what?
I go for Zuckerberg.
You go for Zuckerberg? I'll go for Elon, bro.
Bro, Zuckerberg
Right,
already
so-
competed in a tournament, bro.
It
Hold
don't
on.
matter. That's Elon we're talking about, bro.
I feel like Elon outweighs Zuckerberg.
And
So what names are we? What
I
names?
got 50, 60 pounds on Kevin. He still chokes me.
what nicknames are we giving them?
Ooh, that's good right there. That's good. What are we giving?
what's Zuckerberg's first name?
Mark
Lizard Zuckerberg.
Mark the reptilian.
With
Right,
Elon the
reptilian.
Brain Musk.
Yeah, Elon the
Sorry,
brain
the
musk.
brain.
Elon
But
the
But
brain
I
Musk.
so
I was gonna call him Starboy.
so
Starboy, that's so much better.
yeah,
Elon
Starboy Musk.
Musk.
So I don't know, like I don't know the level, like we all know that Elon has autism, right? Like he does have autism.
Oh yeah,
like,
he
he's got
definitely
Asperger's,
has.
right?
He has some Asperger's.
He's
Yeah.
on the spectrum.
Hey, bro,
He's
I only
definitely
took AP
now,
psychology
does
in
Zuck
fucking
have
high
it?
school. I don't know
Zuck
shit.
has to have it too. Like
Zuck is a
some
different
level.
guy. I think that just that guy. Is
But I think Elon's
Hey, wait. I don't know if Zuck has it, but the dude that portrayed him in The Social Network definitely acted like he had it.
no, so I don't know if Zuck has it or not. It's been proven or not. But with Elon's Asperger's, I think in his autism, bro, I think if he gets into it, I think he's gonna just like throw the fucking everything in a kitchen sink into it
He's gonna
and
be
just
like the good
become
doctor
really
at
fucking
at
good
being
at
a
it.
surgeon.
Huh?
You heard of that show, The Good Doctor? It's like that surgeon who has autism. He's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
fucking
the young
super
kid.
smart. Yeah, but he like freaks out sometimes.
I've seen the ads.
He'll be like that.
motherfucker
Yeah.
had X-ray vision.
X-ray vision.
No, I would think Elon. The reason I want to say Elon is I think he's gonna fucking like that motherfucker gonna be dreaming the jujitsu moves as he sleeps. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna be
I don't know. If he gets into something like jujitsu, I feel like that'd just be his, like, his
piece.
outing, right? His piece. So I get it. He probably would be thinking about it on his free time if he's not thinking about work. That motherfucker sleeps like 5-6 hours a night
Zuckerberg has
every
only
day.
been
a couple of months.
speculated to be on the
Spectrum.
Oh,
spectrum, never confirmed.
gotcha.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean-
Like somebody on a spectrum usually is very good at those
Is
kind
Elon
of things.
confirmed on the spectrum?
At the function, yes, he's
Yeah.
Asperger's, bro,
like
confirmed.
diagnosed by a doctor, like straight up.
Well, I mean that's Elon's story. Like,
Okay, I didn't know.
so-
That. I didn't know this.
No, so that's the only reason I would pick Elon. You know what I mean?
But do you think that a
But I think John Wick would fuck both of them up at the same time.
Well, Keanu Reeves is, I think, probably 20 years older than him. I think he could beat them both at the same time.
Yes.
Keanu Reeves like 54
you know who I
years
want to
old.
see in an actual sanctioned match? Keanu Reeves and Jason Statham. They're two actors that do stiff fighting, and they know legit like martial arts.
What's the other
Jason
actor?
Jason Statham's like a legit.
What's
I think
the other
karate
actor?
or like taekwondo. He's a legit.
He did a lot.
But I'm saying like there's one of them that he's like
kickboxing.
That he's like legit in. Like he practiced for a long time.
Who's the other actor? He's doing jujitsu as well. Like a bunch of pictures.
Tom Hardy's fucking murderer.
Yeah,
in
Hardy.
gi and no gi.
Yeah,
it's a fucking murder. I saw one of his roles in gi and one of his roles in no gi. He's a murderer.
Yeah,
like you can tell he just goes into that fucking like tunnel vision mode.
Yeah,
like he's not like he's like the whole time he's just looking down. Like even when they go to like raise their hands, looking down. It's like fucking demon time.
Yeah.
Well, him and Jake Gyllenhaal both had like
Jake as well?
Fighting movies, and they actually were like, "I'm going to go train to fight, because I want to learn how to fight," and then they just got into it. Like it's called The Warrior, I think.
The Warrior, yes.
Which is
Tom Hardy, when they do the MMA
and
fighting,
then Southpaw, which is a boxing movie with Jake, and Jake got ripped for that fucking thing, and Hardy got fucking like his shoulders were like
Hardy looked
Lex
insane.
Friedman also does jujitsu, which is crazy too.
And also, what's that British comedian, long hair, black hair? He does jujitsu as well. I think he's
Russell?
like a purple belt. Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He does. I think he's a purple belt.
I love listening to him. He's fucking insane.
He got fucking canceled.
Yeah, he did.
He got canceled. What did he get canceled for?
He's pretty extreme on certain things.
Russell Brand doesn't give a fuck to say his mind, and so a lot of people don't like that, even if he's asking legitimate questions.
You know what I'm thinking about?
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm thinking about? I think a lot of the times, like a lot of these people get canceled for shit that they say, and then somebody discovers that that's not really true, and then they just kind of end up like canceling him, like he's joking, whatever. But anytime somebody just like says what they really think, like you can't get mad at somebody that says what they really think. Like this is what you have. Like he thinks it and he says it, and then they put proof out there. Like let's say they're all big on Twitter.
I feel like it depends. If you can clearly put the facts in front of someone's face, or clearly communicate to them that what they're saying or promoting is harmful to certain people or whatever it is, right? Like if fucking a white nationalist, right? Like
no. I'm talking about like Jordan Peterson, because he fucking will like he'll hurt a bunch of people's fucking feelings, but what he says, nobody can fucking just get in front of him and say this is not true.
He'll straight up just be like, if you're like a teacher and you're talking with him and you say some fuck shit, you'd be like, maybe you shouldn't be a teacher.
Yeah,
like he would not give a fuck.
Yeah. And he truly says
Jordan Peterson in the psychology community is seen as a new age Freudian. So
yeah, but then,
he's not well respected in his field.
And he's been afraid of that. Like he's afraid of them taking away his.
He's been in a he's right now in.
Right. He was actually
he's in a lawsuit. They're trying to take his degree away.
Yeah, with this university.
Yeah.
When I listened
with
to
the board. The
last time I had listened to, because he did a podcast recently, the last 6 months with Joe, and he was just in speculation that he was afraid that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. I guess it's happened.
So he's in a lawsuit right now. So basically, here's the thing.
Maybe he already has started.
With Jordan Peterson, he was the one that had a meteoric, like literally like overnight skyrocket. And the whole thing, you guys know how the whole thing started?
No.
So the whole thing started with him going on a campus and saying, I am not going to call somebody a ma'am or sir. So basically what happened was Canadian government implemented this rule. You have to call them ma'am or sir. You have to. And he came out and said, I'm not going to do that because you as a government, you cannot infringe on my free speech.
Right.
Now, his thing was not that he's not going to call him with their preferred pronoun. He's not going to call him because government demands that. He said, if the student approached me and said, hey, listen, professor, these are my pronouns. Would you mind calling me ma'am or sir? He said, I have no problem with that. But government mandating me calling them ma'am and sir, it is wrong and it goes against the free speech. And everyone labeled him as as a bigot, right? And that's how the whole thing started.
What do you think about that, Alex? Because it kind of sounds like he's kind of like justifiable in one sense, but justifiable on the other side too, right? Because what they're trying to protect, right, with that whole kind of law and shit like that, right?
So, I think I know what law you're talking about, and it's not forcing people to call people pronouns. It's just protecting the rights of the people that want to express themselves,
which is fine,
that certain way,
and which is fine. I think he's okay with that.
So in that, a student coming up would be like, no, you view me as this, but I want to do this. So that's not the government telling you you have to call people pronouns.
No, that was his.
He was a mediocre psychologist that found his fame in saying, right-wing trigger words because he knew he could get blown up the Andrew Tate way.
But the Andrew Tate wasn't there yet. Andrew Tate wasn't there because he blew up way before Andrew Tate.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm just comparing them. They both figured out the algorithm, and they knew what words would get them more popular.
So do you think that's what it is? Because he really came out and said, listen, I don't mind calling a student. If student asks me to call me one way, I have no issue with that. I have an issue with the government saying that this is what you have to do. See what I mean? Whether it's a mandate to protect or not protect.
These are those little hidden words, right? I don't want the government telling me that I have to call you what you feel like you are. So just the law there is to protect the person being able to express themselves on who they are. So that's what the law is. You can call them whatever you want under your free speech. But if it comes to a legal battle, then it would be they have the backing of being able to say, this law says I can express who I want, and you're actively discriminating against me.
Correct. And this was what he was battling against, that if there was a legal battle, they can call you out, and now you're in trouble because you didn't do what you wanted to do. Even though he's okay with calling the people.
But that's compared to people who are like, no, fuck you. And then if it does come to a legal battle, there is no law in place to where they have no rights to express themselves.
I get what you're saying.
So they could, they could suffer under defame or anything like that and not have any legal backing for action.
Yeah, but see, like putting a legal backing in, like it would be the same thing as right now all of us got up and wanted to be called handsome, beautiful, and millionaires and billionaires, and I need a Bugatti.
That's completely different, bro.
How's that completely different? That's how I want to.
But that is because we have laws here that if that's what that's the image you want to portray, and someone is saying that you're not, that you're a fraud, you can sue them for defamation. Mm-hmm. But we have a bunch of cases that you can fall back on saying that because he's saying that I don't drive fancy cars, I can't make this money. It's impeding me being able to drive those fancy cars and fancy money. You can win. And it's just like having a law saying, hey, yo, these people want to be called this. Just call them whatever they want to call them. It can be used in a court of, hey, this person's actively, defaming me or whatever.
But see, that's
it's got to here.
That means to me that the way that sounds to me, it sounds like that they're forcing you to say that. They're like government physically forcing you to say that, because if you don't,
but how hard is it?
It's not about being hard. It's super easy. It's the principle of them forcing you to say it. Otherwise, you might get into trouble if you don't say it. See, this is what.
But you won't get in trouble from the government. That's the thing. The government's not taking you in and fining you. It's a personal civil case.
Yeah, which is.
So it's just protecting the civil rights of people. That's all it is.
But with the same token, it's protecting civil rights of the person, which I think you should call somebody if they want to be called that way. Go ahead and call them. Not a big deal. It's not fucking hard. It's their life. You do whatever you got to do. You live in your life. They're not hurting you, right? As long as they're not hurting you, your family, you're good to go. But the point is, like, if they can bring up a civil case against you and possibly get you in trouble, and the government says we are okay with this. Like, this is this.
I mean, we have defamation laws, which is the exact same thing. You said bad words against me. You slandered me.
I would be such a petty person. I just call the person. What do you want to be called? An F-150? Cool, that's fine. I'm a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Right now, like right now.
Go ahead, take care of it. So I can see both sides. And anyway, the point was he got super popular. But like I do subscribe to his channel, but there's not a lot of talks that I listen to that are interesting to me. There are very few that
He has a lot of mommy issues.
I don't know if he does it. Doesn't I'm not a psychologist. I don't know, right? Like he might have. You know, the whole thing that he gets on camera and cries and things like that. I don't like that too much. You know, that just loses. To me, that loses credibility. You know, like I just don't see it.
I will give him. He is passionate about what he talks about. Yeah. If it is fake or not, that is up to debate when it comes to me. Because I see a man mediocre in his field, found his way to fame, and then just wants to profit as much as he can.
But is he really mediocre in his field? Is he really?
He was very mediocre in his field.
That's coming from other psychologists that don't.
That's how the field works.
Yeah. Well, no.
They get together. They do thesis and theories together, and then they come to a conclusion or a thesis or a generalization. And the generalization of his field, his active current field in Canada, was he was pretty fucking mediocre.
Well, no. What I'm trying to say, there are other people in his field that are like always gone against his opinions and ideas, and those are the ones that are saying this. But the ones that like his ideas and opinions saying the opposite. So in reality, is he really mediocre? It's just like factions, right? Like one faction is gonna say socialism is good, the other faction is gonna say socialism is bad. Like, so who's right? You know what I mean? So I think that's what that's what's happening. Because you're always gonna have haters out there.
But it probably won't be, because I'm sure Alex did the research and saw that these people are saying, "Hey, he's kind of wild."
No, I know that he's very well read. Number one, somebody that's that well read, to me, that's already they're bringing some sort of credibility. I have heard.
But you say you don't watch a lot of his content, so how do you know he's very well read?
Because of some of the conversations that I've heard him have with somebody. Like, he's very articulate, and things that he says, you cannot. It's very hard for you to go and say, well, no, this is not it.
Well,
you
can say
he's also a lecturer who knows how to speak.
I was going to say, I had this conversation with Tommy today, kind of like about like being a conversationalist, like knowing how to talk. That's just a skill you hone.
A good storyteller,
right? And that's just a skill you hone. And then like all of us here are honing that skill right now. We do this shit twice a week now. It's been 50 episodes. But like I was talking about that with Tommy today. Like it's just another skill you have to hone. And given by that, I agree. You can't go by his credibility.
You're doing mental gymnastics. I agree. Yeah. I agree with that.
And then there's some things I've heard him say, and I like I said, I like listening to the dude. I said it earlier.
I'm a very big fan of people that can do improv and can not only tell really good stories, but be able to develop new stories on the spot. That's just.
Now, the reason I say that, I don't listen to a lot of his things, but I have skimmed through his book, The 12 Rules that he has. I've skimmed through that book.
I have it. I can lend it to you if you'd like.
So the reason I liked it is because I'm gonna. So here's I'm gonna go back to what. So when I was back in school, I encountered this when I was back in school in Lithuania, right? Like anytime you wrote an essay, it couldn't just have been an essay. Like you couldn't just wrote an essay. They would give you one sentence out of this. Let's say it's whether it's a poem or whatever it is, one sentence, you had to write an essay about it. So you had to like go through each word, the way the sentence was composed, understand who the author is, what year did they live, what kind of a situation there was, and what they're trying to say with that sentence, right? And in his book of 12 Rules, he does preface religion, prefaces this, prefaces that. So he brings those things in and he explains how is that connected, right? Because each written thing has a meaning behind it that you need to understand. Like authors don't just write something and they say, okay, this is what it is, right?
Did you ever have the opportunity to listen to his podcast with Patrick B. David?
Patrick B. David?
Yeah.
No, I have not listened to that.
He did have a podcast with him, and he mentioned that he actually had I think it was 42 laws initially.
Yes.
But he did have to narrow it down to 12 just so that everything connected.
Yes. Yeah,
because he didn't want to
42, kind of like the 42 laws of power, or 48 laws of power.
48 laws of power.
I actually want to read that book. I heard
48 laws of power. I have it if you want it. I have an e-version of it. I can send it.
It is a good read. I have read it.
Yeah, so and I did buy it, motherfuckers. So if you don't think I did buy it, I bought it. I bought the damn book, right? It's like buying a fucking paperback and giving it to somebody to read. So I'm gonna give it to him because I bought the damn book.
He's doing old school. It's like newspapers or magazines when you're done reading them. Here.
Yeah. So 48 laws of Power.
Figure out what my dad's doing.
It's a fucked up book. It's a good book, but it's a fucked up book. Like, because you have to be, it kind of almost, like, when you read the book, it almost, because I've read a couple of books about narcissists and psychopaths and things like that, it almost forces you to think as a narcissist or a psychopath, right? And why I say that is because
the thing is, you look at things as a lot more rationally and logical.
You have to interpret it, I guess, like it is.
Yeah, so because it gives you examples. It gives you examples. It'll tell you the law, and then it gives you examples within the history how those things happen and how you can use it, right? It's kind of like Sun Tzu's Art of War. Like,
yeah,
it's a very cunning book. It teaches you how to be really, really cunning, and that's the wrong word. How to be a chameleon in any situation, right? Like, it's just, if you're talking to children, you talk in one way. You're talking to grown-ups, you talk another way. Like, it teaches you how to read the room and be able to adapt and adjust to the room.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to talk to adults like children because it's just the way they understand things.
See, but what that does, it takes away your genuine personality of who you are. Now, I'm not saying your personality is perfect, but it takes it away from you when the person in front of you doesn't really know who they're communicating with, because you're putting out a persona.
Okay, in a way, because
I get what
there's
saying.
ways that you can teach and explain things, but that may not be your persona.
I feel like you really only have not necessarily a handful of people, but it's a small group of people that you're really going to only be genuine with regardless.
Open, and they know exactly who you are.
Exactly. Besides that, it's best to kind of build that chameleon because you're going to function the most efficiently that way.
Correct. No, and I agree with that. This is why I'm saying that book, when, like, if you really try to siphon everything in and, like, you know, use your Neuralink and load it all up,
it's hard. You're gonna have to read it a couple of times.
Yes, definitely a couple of times. It's gonna give you the same methods that perhaps psychopaths and narcissists use to gain advantage. Now, the book doesn't say gain advantage. Like, for example, like, it talks about how do you want to progress at your job, right? Like, it literally talks about how to throw somebody under the bus. Or if you want your boss's job, you basically throw your boss under the job to get your boss's job, right?
Yeah. I will agree with you. It's very unethical, a very manipulative book.
Very manipulative.
But it does teach you, like, the deep, dark human psyches of what we consider the realms of power.
Yes.
And, you know, money influence is really what it breaks down to.
And if you think about it, since dawn of fucking humanity, what was the number one thing to demonstrate some sort of a status? It was money and power. Like, that demonstrated status. Right now, that has changed with money and fame, meaning, like, if your Instagram following is high, everybody knows about it. Like, for example, take Bad Bunny. Do you think he's ever going to have issue in the current state? Do you think he's ever going to have issue walking into rooms? No. Because he's Bad Bunny. Who doesn't want him to be in the room with him?
It's crazy to think, because 5 years ago, nobody knew who the fuck he was.
Nobody knew who the fuck he was.
5 years ago, I knew who the fuck he was. Well, 5 years ago, we were in high school, bro. Come on.
Dude, yeah, of course, but he was not that big.
Well, so let's say 5 years ago, he was not dating a Kardashian.
He's not even he wasn't even close to being as big as he was 2 years. 3 years ago.
5 years ago, he was not dating a Kardashian. Let's just start with that. The reason he's dating a Kardashian...
that only happened within, like, 4
I think
weeks,
you guys are, like, overstepping when you guys are forgetting 5 years ago is only 2018, bro.
No, anyway,
that's true. A lot has
happened.
No, that's true.
My senior year, bro.
No, you're correct.
You ain't gotta make us
I would
feel
probably
old.
push it back to.
That's what I'm saying. We're not that young.
Okay,
bro.
7 years. 7 years.
Yeah,
okay, well,
in
any case, like, the point is this: do you think Bad Bunny is gonna have hard time walking in any concert to the backstage? Any hard time getting on the fucking stage, getting ovations, getting people screaming, taking pictures, like fucking draw. Like,
I don't know. I feel like sometimes we overthink that, like, sometimes these celebrities automatically get, like, depending on what level you are. I feel like but I feel like his face, his music might be known, but his face isn't as that known yet.
Bro, he's the highest paid fucking music artist in the world.
Bro, I don't know.
Well, let's talk about
his music.
Let's talk about Mr. 305.
But I'm saying,
Pitbull.
like, it's not the same thing. You guys, even though his music is there and it's been there for a little while now, it's not the same thing. Him and someone like Jay-Z walked in the room, like, visually, on a visual sense, like, their presence.
Yeah, but, like, let's.
You know one thing about Bad Bunny, his humility is incredible. When he had this podcast with Chente Hidrak, shout out, I love that shit. I love his shit. Watch it every day. Anyways, he was like, he asked him moment there. He asked him, yeah, fanboy. He asked a question, and he said, "Do you know that your presence right here, we are monetizing the shit out of it? Do you know?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I can't really think about the fact that every time I take a step, it's $5. It's just, I would go mad. I would go insane."
Why? What?
He would go insane thinking, because he wouldn't know like the people around him that would want to take advantage of him.
Well, that's gonna come with the territory.
Exactly, right? But that's what he's saying. Is like, I can't think about it too much, bro. It's just like, I hang out. If you have a good vibe, I like you. I'll hang out with you. If you don't have a good vibe, then...
Yeah, but I don't see like I'm not trying to be contrarian, but I don't see the humility part in this. Like, what's the humility part?
He doesn't really care if you have money either. He's just outgoing with everybody no matter what.
Well, no, I get what you're saying, but at the same time,
he's saying regardless of like the status he's at, he tries to stay like as down to earth as possible and not get caught up in being.
Yeah, like, so if that's the case, so you think if we message him today to come on a pod or like meet up with him, he's gonna be cool with that?
Of course not.
You see what I mean? Like, that's the bottom line, right? Like, at the end of the day, I think he's famous. So the whole thing started with like having status, right? Money and power. Before, now it's just the status, right? Like, that brings you money and power, which is most of the time.
Well, we may not be able to Instagram. We may not be able to have him right now, but we'll have him in the future.
Right now, you mean?
In the future,
bro, we're already famous. Like, think about it this way, bro. We're doing this. We've been doing this for 50 episodes, almost 50 episodes, right? And each episode has been about 2 hours long, right? Mm-hmm. So we've already contributed 100 hours to this thing. Divide 100 hours to this thing. Divide 100 hours by 15, right? Like, you take 100 hours, like, multiply it by 4. Multiply 100 hours by 4, right? So that's 400 segments, like 415-minute segments. 415-minute segments. 1 year has 365 days. So according to the statistic, bro, we're literally better at this than 95% of the people on the planet right now.
Because nobody's doing this, bro.
Just think about it, bro. Most people, we're one of the few. Right, like, if anything, even if we don't have a lot of clout right now, we're better at this game than 95% of the people on the planet. Now, if we add another episode that's gonna add 2 hours, bro, like we're literally like we're hitting this on, like, we're going into the fourth gear right now. We were gear 1, gear 2, gear 3. Now we're in the fourth gear. Well, no, not fourth, but third gear. Right now we're in third gear, or even second gear. Fuck it, we're in the second gear.
We're second gear at almost max RPM.
Yeah, we're about to shift.
Yeah, we're about to shift.
Third episode.
We're
about to go.
We're about to shift. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because like if something happens out of this, happens. Something doesn't happen. This is a fucking experience that you can't take away. Us sitting here and shooting shit and fucking arguing with each other, that's gonna help us in life. But like, out of this, like, this is what I'm getting out of this. Like, I don't know, you know. I don't know. I might be fucking wrong. I see that vein popping outside of my head.
I 1000% agree. I mean, no other way to put it.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Fame and money are awesome, but also like doing what you enjoy and just so happen to be putting it on the internet.
Yeah, and you know, there's this guy. He's pretty controversial. He's shorter, always wears suits, glasses, and a white hair. And his thing was like, what the and constantly curses, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Make your money first, help yourself, then you can go and fucking help others. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Do whatever you love and blah blah blah, you know. And I kind of like, even though I kind of agree with him. Like, you get like,
you do, and I don't know. At the same time, I feel like once you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, well, how much more do you need, right? Because greed starts to kick in, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does. It definitely does.
So how much? It all depends on what you're striving for, right? Like, I know people, very close family friends, that are like okay where they are, like, and they're not bums.
Some people, by any means, some people don't mind living a regular life and just living, you know, paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, so I know people that are in the top 10% of United States, and they're making good money, and they have a family, beautiful home, and they're content with what they have.
Gary Vaynerchuk is
Gary V. Gary V.
I started listening to a lot of his shit when I was in high school, right? And what I got away from that, and I was kind of always like...
Well, he got fucking canceled for divorcing his wife. I haven't been seeing him at all.
Oh, as you say that, but I don't know. I'm subscribed to all his shit. I even get his fucking, like, motivational text shit.
Yeah, but, like, he's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, his clips aren't as famous, but I still see him. Anyways, I got a lot of one of the best things I think I got from his content was kind of like, don't fucking break your back and like put yourself, like, for example, he said if you can be more happy with your out of work life, spend more time with your family and just not be as stressed out when you're making, let's say, $90,000, $100,000, but then you're like breaking your back, not being able to spend time with your family, sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night just to make 180. It's kind of like, there's a balance. Yeah,
there is a balance, but then there comes a time where you're making certain type of money, you can't do that shit on your own. At that time, you have to think about it. Listen, I can do this shit on my own, and this is how much time it's going to take out of my day. Or I can contract this out and then use that time for something else that's going to make me more money, and then that's going to pay that. So you kind of have to do that,
But this is the thing, right? He's saying, like, set your management up and do all that.
Yeah.
But you don't necessarily have to always keep looking to go forward and forward and forward.
Yeah.
If you're set somewhere where you have a business now set up. When your kids get older, if they want, they can go into the family business, or they have the option to have college because they have the money from this thing or whatever it may be. Like, and then use instead of the time to go look for more ventures, use that time to just chill
with the family. Yeah, no, and I agree with that. The one thing that I don't agree with is, how people say, well, what would happen if you died tomorrow? Hypothetical situation. What would you do? Well, obviously,
fuck that. The likelihood of that is just so fucking small.
Dead. It's just obviously I would be wanting to spend time with family and friends. That's a dumbass fucking question. But what are the likelihood of that shit happening? So if that was the case,
you're dead tomorrow. You're dead tomorrow. It is what it is. You can't go back and give all the time to the things that you wanted to do. You have to live an unregretting life.
And that's what I'm saying. But the point here, what I'm trying to say is that hypothetical situation. What are the chances of that hypothetical situation happening? So that makes no sense for you to live that butterfly type of life, and then what happens. No, there's got to be a little more to it than just I don't know, than just fucking just doing some.
That's another thing that there's balance to. It's like, okay, we have to we have to make sure that the stuff we do today can secure me tomorrow, but I also have to enjoy myself because there might not be any tomorrow.
And it comes down to the one thing, you see people that are like, oh my God, I love eating sushi, or oh my God, I love eating steak, or oh my God, I love traveling. The reason they're saying those things, in my opinion, I could be fucking wrong. The reason they're saying these things is because they haven't had enough of those things. So you eat enough of fucking sushi, you eat enough of the steak, you travel enough. You can be like, yeah, bro, it's sushi, it's great. Yeah, it's steak, it's great. I mean, I like it. But it's not going to be, I fucking love it. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I can feel that, but also, you could, sorry. Go ahead, Mickey D.
I feel like it's really hard for me to appreciate that, bro. You're a gentleman.
Stuck that one in there.
I'll call you by your pronouns, baby.
Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Same.
So I was talking about eating sushi, eating steak.
Oh yeah. Eventually,
I love video games. I've done that for probably 15 years. So
eventually, if you eat something long enough, you just get tired of it. So I hated that question where if there was one thing that you could eat for the rest of your life, what the fuck would it be?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But playing video games. Okay, so let's talk about video games. What if you sat down and you played video games for 24 hours for 1 month?
See, that's a very good...
even Eddie's statement, he's just said the last 3 days he hasn't even played video games. He's just been on Omegle. So,
Yeah, but you can go with things that you just because you love something doesn't mean you have to do it every day.
Well, that's my point.
It doesn't mean you don't get tired of it sometimes.
No, so that's my point between saying I like to do something like I like steak. Steak is delicious, or I fucking love steak. I can't wait to eat a steak. You know what I mean? That's a different story.
I mean, video games and food are not comparable because that's putting mental effort in compared to just consuming.
See, ready? I don't put $3,000+ $3,000 into something that I don't love.
No. I'm not talking about putting 3,000 or that these things are comparable. Just the whole idea that I love. Like, I can't wait to do this thing. Whatever that thing is, I can't wait to do this thing.
Sometimes it's like
that. Man. The passion fades,
The passion fades the more you do it. Like, for example, I like to travel to Colombia.
Actually, but that's in waves. Because it's not the same thing. Video games aren't comparable, like you're saying, because it's not the same thing every time.
Jay, and
you can play different video games. I'm talking about video games in a whole. It's kind of just like someone saying, I love food. Not saying I love sushi. That's what I'm saying.
I like long walks on the week and hikes.
And there is a difference between saying, "Oh, I enjoy food" and "I love food," and I've seen that motherfucking difference. You can see it in someone's eyes when they're like eating something and they're like almost making love to it, like really enjoy it.
Yeah,
because either it's nostalgic or it's just that good or whatever it may be.
But if they had enough of it consecutively, that wouldn't be there.
That actually still can be there because sometimes it's linked to nostalgia. Listen, ready? Man. Nostalgia in the sense that it's something that you had so much when you were a kid.
But the nostalgia, what I'm talking about, that nostalgia you're talking about, for the longest time you haven't had it, and now you're having. Like, you can be nostalgic about your country if you lived outside of your country, right?
You know what? I actually just came up with the one food that you can eat every day because we damn near have rice.
But I don't love rice.
I like rice.
No, you may not love rice, but you fucking eat it damn near every day.
That's right.
Are we talking just like plain rice? Or
plain
can we,
rice.
Like, spice it up?
And you just
plain rice.
White rice
Luma's plain rice.
So
bro.
look,
Hispanic rice.
So
Luma's
no, I mean to have to be eaten every day.
Or Ozzy's wives, the Maya's plain rice. Your mom's plain rice, bro.
I'm gonna do fucking white rice every day by itself. No.
Yeah, but the only reason I like the rice is because I'm usually in a calorie deficit. I try to diet and I don't eat any carbs. So every time I see their rice, I'm like, oh my god, and I'm chomping it down because I don't eat enough of it. Like, if I ate enough of it throughout the day, I'd be like, yeah, just again white rice.
Look, but like, there's a difference between all the rices and how each. I'm gonna say this between at least the Caribbean Latino islands, meaning, and I'm just gonna name like Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Dominican Republic, right? The way that those three countries make rice is drastically different.
100%.
But what is even like on a whole different fucking
Asian rice?
Yeah, that's on a whole different thing.
That's another level.
I don't understand this concept. I don't understand this concept. How do you make rice?
How do you make rice?
No. How do you guys make rice in the DR?
Okay. So I don't know how to fucking do it. I just know how to eat it.
How the fuck do you know? I know how to do your rice.
No, I mean I can make rice. But it's gonna be like how my grandmother does it. Like she
bro.
You've never talked to your
grandma's recipe. She don't even have it written down. It's like you put a little bit in your hand, a little bit of salt, and you just add that. Grandma, how much is that? I don't know. It's the hand.
It's this much.
So if you
my hand's not that big.
If you haven't written it down, you haven't asked for it. Have you at least watched how to make it?
Yeah, no. Like for example, if you were to tell me, Eddie, go make us a pot of white rice for us, I could go and do it right now.
Okay.
Because I've heard them talk about, like, for example, my mom usually gives, like, for people that ask, like, oh my god, this rice is so good, how do you do it? And they're like, because they used to do the finger method. And my mom said, well, the way my mom told me is like, because, you know, grandma's on a whole different measure.
Yeah, grandma's on another level.
But grandma's basic recipe for other people, they can't still do it like her, but is like 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, 1-to-1.
One cup of rice, one cup of water.
Yep.
And so, but I don't know if I would get like the whole oil and salt seasoning ratio correctly.
That's the key.
Because that's really the fucking key.
Yes, that's the fucking key.
That's what I'm
oil
saying.
And salt.
So I have the recipe. For us, it's first you clean the rice in water, of course. Yeah. Some people don't do it because it has nutrients. Okay. You have rat shit in your rice. Anyway.
Because it's like, you seen the thing about like how they roast white people because they don't wash their rice, they don't wash their chicken, all that shit.
Bro, don't forget what you said. Bro, don't forget what you said. Bro, how the fuck do you not wash your chicken? Please, somebody, please tell me, how do you not wash your chicken,
I'm talking about, they were roasting all these white ladies doing cooking shows, and they were taking the chicken straight from the wrapping in the thing to their fucking like seasoning and just going straight to cooking.
Bro, or another thing, people will put that
right now. He's living.
Bro, or another thing that I can't picture this shit, bro. They put the chicken inside of a kitchen sink and that's how. Bro, take one piece at a time. Wash it in your hands. Like, after you've washed your hands, wash that shit in your hands. Put it in a pot. One at a fucking time. Why are you dumping everything in a kitchen sink? It don't make no sense.
You know what I love? Most of my white friends are all really like cultured, and they like when I go and I eat at their house, it's pretty actually can be pretty good sometimes. But I love how they all make fun of. They always have that white aunt or uncle or family member that they make fun of because they're like, whenever I go to this fucking white family member's house, I can't eat shit.
It's horrible.
I can't literally eat shit. Salt and pepper in that bitch, and that's it.
You eat to be polite. What do you mean?
Bro, look at my vein popping as I'm screaming about chicken. Spicy. You see that shit on the screen?
I told you, it hit you.
Bro, like that vein's got his own little brain at this point. but like just talking about food, like your grandma's beans, right? When we were younger,
bro,
my grandma would make beans, and that was my grandpa's favorite thing. And the way she would make she would make kind of like your grandma does the beans, and you still would have the liquid and things like that. And my grandpa would smash it, and that liquid would just kind of join and become like this mashed bean consistency, right? And he would eat it with the lavash, or the thin bread that we have, right?
That shit is so good, bro.
Yeah, and then when I went to your grandma's house and she had beans and I was not hungry, bro, I ate 3 plates because that was the nostalgia of the beans.
Yeah.
That remind me of the beans like my grandma used to cook.
Yeah.
There's just something about it. There's just like a perfect amount of salt, perfect amount of pepper, perfect amount of the spices that it's almost impossible to fucking recreate.
See, this is something that we talk about. Like, for example, recently my grandma is like doing the best in the sense like she's having trouble walking now, and it's crazy because when I hear them talk about it, they're like, it's all her fucking fault, and I'm like, what do you mean it's all her fault? She's getting old. It's like because she doesn't I guess she doesn't watch her steps. She's very like careless when it comes to like moving around, right? And they tell her like, make sure you're moving around with your cane at all times, and like she won't do it, and she'll go and fall and this and that. But like that's something that you can see soon. It's like she's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still cooking.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I'll be in a wheelchair. I'm still fucking cooking.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And that's what I'm talking about. And I think that's slowly like disappearing from our society, especially from a Western world. Like you don't see the grandmas that fucking put the love into cooking, and they thoroughly enjoy doing that
because they enjoy watching
you eat and enjoy it. Yes. They don't have that. Like like the newer generation doesn't have that.
My grandma, if you're eating something and she can see, and she walks by and she sees that you're like really like into it, she'll literally just look at you and just fucking grin out of her ass.
Yes,
and laugh and laugh because she enjoys that.
And I saw that shit in her eyes when I was eating her fucking beans, bro. When I took first plate, I ate it. I went back to her. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like the biggest smile. These eyes are like sparkling. That I went for the second one, and then I went for the third one. Bro, I went for the third one. She was ready to give me the fourth one. I was like, Grandma, like this is it. Like, I can't do it. I want to, but I can't do it. Like I'll take some home. She said, "You'll take some home." And piles up in a fucking plate. Here, take it home. You know what I mean? It's just, this is what I'm talking about. Like you don't see that. Like I see that in my mother. I saw that in my grandma. Like like for example, I just came back from vacation. I was like, oh, would you come over? Don't stop anywhere. Don't eat anything. Come over. I have food prepared already. And she sat there and watched myself and Mauricio eat. And she was the happiest by seeing us like enjoy the food that she cooked.
We saw that every day. We'd go into your house for the podcast, and she'd make her sweets and or blinchy or whatever it was. She enjoyed doing that. 100%.
And same thing with your mom. Same thing with your dad. But like the newer generation, the Western world, I think
my
it's
dad
losing that.
That's exactly why he does it.
Yeah, because he loves seeing people that are happy eating, hanging out.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. You still have like your
pockets, southern pockets.
Yeah. That I wouldn't just say in the South, but the really move to the dual both man and woman need to get a job to support the household.
Yes.
Leaves less time for that love and care that you can put into cooking, to where we've kind of shifted to what's fast and quick, because if you have to go work all day and then come home and feed your family, you can't put that kind of love in that grandma did when she didn't have any place to be all day.
Yeah.
Not saying she didn't do anything around the house.
Cook that oxtail motherfucker.
Yeah. Now, see, I have this controversial idea, and you guys are more than welcome to give me your opinions. Now, I think when this whole feminist movement came around, and women to the workforce and things like that, obviously. From one side, if you look at it...
Real quick, I always loved hearing my sister. She still say it today. who the fuck was it that started this shit?
Yeah.
I want to be home. And I was like, you also want to get beaten? She's like, well. Like, I was going to get smacked?
But so the thing that this feminist movement started and everything was like, I think, in my opinion, the way I see this was advertised to women as a good thing, right? Which is a good thing if you look at the government and corporations. That's a good thing for them. Why?
Well, make more money, spend more money. What do you mean?
Exactly, more in taxes, right? You can collect now more in taxes. And number two, like if you look at all the commercials and everything, majority of them are geared towards women because they know that women are 80% of the spending consumer base, right? So I think what they did inevitably, they advertised this shit as good for women, but there was an ulterior motive behind this.
No, I feel like that's something that ended up being
a byproduct.
A byproduct over time, over a little.
Yeah, because it stemmed from necessity. Because especially in America, we had no one here. Everyone was out doing the war.
I was about to say with the wars
and
that
we
went down
had
in
to
the 90s,
enlist.
man. Like that whole like the mom staying at home was still a big thing.
Oh, I'm talking about like World War, like even before.
Yeah, because at that time, women are working in the factories and building tanks and cars.
Yeah.
And things
1900s.
Like
I mean, all the wars.
Even though the 90s was fucking 30 years ago.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, all the wars that went down through the 1900s. The women were still like staying at home, even though they were, fighting for their rights to vote and to go work.
World War II changed a lot. World War II changed a lot, especially Great Depression. World War II changed a lot because then women are actually going into the Rolls-Royce factories, and Rolls-Royce converted to making tanks, and women are actually building tanks because
planes.
Planes, yeah, they didn't have enough men. But the bottom line was they're like, oh shit, this is working. We can collect more in taxes. We can do this now. Well, fuck. Let's just do that and raise the prices of everything and have everybody in a fucking rat race.
I feel like it must have been a byproduct, and that over time is something that they said, oh.
Yeah, so now... Now milk could have technically cost twice less, but it's more because they know that these are dual-income households and they will pay.
Well, I've been looking into that. Like, I've been doing a deep dive on American commerce, right? And it boils down to two companies. The Vanguard Company and BlackRock. No matter what you're eating, drinking, putting in your body, on your body, like clothes, anything, it is owned in majority by these two companies. So we have two monopolies trying to give us the illusion of choice in America.
Correct. Now, in a little bit, you got, what's his name? He's a big investor, one of the largest hedge funds, Berkshire Hathaway. Owner of Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh, freaking...
Come on, guys.
Fuck! Big investor.
Huge Berkshire Hathaway. Somebody Google this shit. Anyway, I do agree with you.
What am I doing?
Vanguard, like, let's talk about Vanguard. Vanguard, in 1970s, they became popular because he basically created what's called exchange-traded funds, right?
Warren Buffett?
Warren Buffett. Exchange-traded funds, which is closed-end funds. And basically the way this whole thing works, just a little bit of education, is let's say there's a fund that has, let's say, $1 billion. For this $1 billion, they'll buy XYZ stocks, bunch of stocks, and they'll create a fund, right? Let's say that follows a certain index. Let's say it follows the economic index of tech, economic index of medical field, economic index of whatever it is, right?
So I have a question about that. When you're talking about attaching to economic something, what does that actually like measure?
Index?
Yeah.
To attach an... Okay, so what that means, economic index is a value for a certain aspect of economy. So let's take tech to make this easier, right?
Okay.
Tech industry gains X percentage throughout the year, right?
Okay.
But as an investor or as a manager of money, you cannot guess technically which company is going to do well and which company is going to do worse for you to buy that specific companies and to basically make your money grow bigger. Mm-hmm. So what you're doing, you're creating a fund, you're basically using your brain and your understanding of the industry. You're creating this fund by buying different stocks of within a certain industry, leveraging those stocks with buying options, selling options, then doing double or triple leverages on certain things. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to match the percentage gain on a tech stocks, on a tech sector in general. So whatever tech sector grows, you want your fund to match that level of growth.
I see.
Okay, so that's where it says it's attaching it to that benchmark. So that's the benchmark, which means this is our goal, and our fund should reach our goal or surpass it. That's the goal. That's the end result. Okay. Right? So,
and if you don't hit it, hopefully you got money.
Hopefully you got money. Yes, exactly. Hopefully you got money. But the point here is that Vanguard created what's called ETFs, exchange traded funds, and these are what's called closed end funds. So they basically buy a bunch of shares of this thing, they close the fund, and they trade this on a stock market, right? So the way the underlying shares, whatever is in a fund, the way they do it, and that determines the price of the actual
so you're
share
basically selling your stock portfolio.
It's basically selling your stock portfolio, yes. Before that, what was happening was what's called a mutual funds, right? Mutual funds are open-ended funds, which means the more money flows into the mutual fund, the more shares of whatever the underlying of the fund is, they buy. And it continues to grow in the amount of shares and the quantity of money that's coming in. That's the difference between closed-end and open-end, right? And Vanguard was the first one to come up with those closed-end funds that were pretty much zero to none managing fees. So what
because
they did,
there are
passive
a couple of
funds.
There are a couple of different fund types. There's Vanguard, and then there's always
Vanguard itself has thousands of funds.
So I heard Vanguard is probably the best one to invest in.
What's that?
If you were to do a fund, you'd probably do it with Vanguard.
So if you do a fund, you can do it with anyone, right? Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Would you say the better one would be Vanguard?
Not necessarily. Vanguard was the first one that pioneered low fee exchange traded funds or closed end funds.
So isn't it the most popular?
Not necessarily, because Fidelity right now, you have Schwab, you have Citi, you have a bunch of investment companies that have their own funds. So the way you want to look at this, and this was a Warren Buffett suggestion, and I don't co-sign this, I'm just saying what he said. He said as a normal investor, instead of breaking your head and going out there and then trying to pick this stock or that stock, just buy an exchange traded fund that has low cost ratio. It costs you low amount to own this fund, and then just buy that, continue to buy it passively, right? That was his thing. You just forget about it. That was his suggestion.
Hold on. So you're saying try and purchase somebody else's portfolio?
That's it.
So try and, in a way, get a mortgage out of that portfolio. So you're buying it over time, you said?
No. So let's say the fund, because the fund has its own shares. Let's say this fund has 1,000,000 shares. This portfolio has 1,000,000 shares. You go in and you say, I want 1,000 shares of this fund. You buy it, and every month, let's say you put an investment, say, I'm going to buy another 10 every month. Gotcha. So your portfolio continuously grows. It becomes 1,000, becomes 1,010 every month.
So you're telling me that you could basically invest in somebody else's portfolio.
Yes, you can basically invest into somebody else's portfolio.
So if you wanted
invest into someone else's investing.
So if you wanted to say, hey, I have the money to invest into Warren Buffett's portfolio, you could invest.
Yes, so you can right now buy Berkshire Hathaway. There's A and B shares.
Well, I know he was trying to get rid of that because of all the shit that's going on in Taiwan. He's scared of.
He would also probably say make an LLC.
Yes.
And then invest through that so that you're not held liable.
And things like that. Yeah. So, for example, Berkshire Hathaway has 2 shares right now you can buy. Share A and Share B. Share A is like north of $200,000 per one share. Okay. Share B is, I think, somewhere between $300 to $400, something like that. I haven't looked at the price, so don't quote me on this, right? So you can buy shares of each, which one you want. And this fund performs accordingly to what underlying shares of the fund are. Make sense?
Yeah, and this company actually they make the chips, right? These are the ones that are making.
So you're talking about the Taiwan. You're talking about Taiwan
because their main headquarters are based in Taiwan. These are the ones that are making the chips, and that's why he initially started investing.
No, stop. He's been investing in a bunch of shit. He's has Wells Fargo,
of course,
Bank of America,
it's Warren Buffett. He's got
a bunch of shit. And a couple of years back, he started investing into China and into Taiwan. China was BYD Auto Company, company that makes those electric cars, or Chinese electric cars. It's BYD. Correct. And then Taiwanese auto chips. But he recently pulled back from BYD in a China in a Taiwanese company, right?
Yeah, again, because he's concerned with them going to war and then all that shit going crazy.
I think that's a smokescreen. This is my opinion. I think that's a smokescreen. Why
do you think that is a smokescreen?
I think what happened was he made his money and said, I already made my money. I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to put it into something else.
But isn't that insane? Because semiconductors are needed so much nowadays that it just doesn't make any sense.
But think about it. Think about it. He went into semiconductors and electric cars a couple of years prior to COVID. What happened during COVID?
Everything shut down.
Everything shut down. And what happened to the price of semiconductors?
They skyrocketed.
So if they skyrocketed, what happens to the company's
resale
profits?
market went crazy bad shit.
Yeah, what happens to the company's profits?
Oh, of course they go down.
They go up because the price is skyrocketed.
Wait a second, but aren't people buying that at resale value? The companies are losing money, and people are getting more.
No, because they're charging more. So it's a relationship, right? Like you sell it at lower price, larger quantities, but at higher price, smaller quantities.
But aren't companies? So if there are chip shortages, aren't companies still making the chips, still selling them at resale price?
No.
Over time, yes, they're going to increase, but it's definitely not going to be as huge as.
So during COVID, that's exactly what happened. During COVID, the chip prices went through the roof because there were nowhere to be found, and people were throwing all kinds of money just to get chips. So the prices of chips went out. By default, the net profits of those companies that were still able to produce the chips also went up. And then he pulled out of it because what's going to happen since the production opens back up, the prices of chips going to come down, so do the profits, which means that the prices of the shares are also going to come down. Because of that, he pulled out at the height of the market where he made most of his profit.
I mean, they're also invested in companies that are bringing chip factories to America.
They're also invested into those companies. So the amount of money, because he manages $100 billion with a B, $100 billion. I don't know what the number of countries that have that kind of economy in the world.
American commerce right now is estimated at about 40 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
And between BlackRock and Vanguard companies, they 30, own about 21 trillion.
21 trillion. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, $21 trillion
of that money that's in America. It's like, yeah. They have the most percentages. They make sure they hold the most percentages on those boards so that they have the most voting power.
Correct.
And or they fill up those slots with LLCs and shell companies to contain control.
Yes. What'd you say, Miggy? Yes.
Well, my question is, who is the owner of Vanguard and Fidelity?
Us.
How much are they making?
Us. We are the owners.
So there is no CEO of Vanguard?
There is a CEO, but CEO runs the company. But you as a person can purchase Vanguard shares, and now you're part owner of Vanguard. Vanguard is what's called a publicly traded company. So there is no one owner. It's not a privately held. It's publicly traded, which means anyone can be an owner of a company.
So yeah, so
because these percentages are in like
Tim Buckley.
Huh?
The Vanguard CEO is Tim Buckley.
Yes, so he's the CEO.
He's chief executive officer.
Yeah.
That just means he's like big boss.
He's the big boss. He's the one that brings in the money. He's the one that makes the connections.
But doesn't mean he's owner.
He is a part owner as well.
I'm sure he's got shares. Yeah.
It's estimated that he makes around $236,000 a year.
How much?
$236,000 a year.
Nah, bro.
Way more.
Nah, bro.
I mean, is that like salary and not including stock prices and buybacks and all that shit? Because he could be getting bonuses.
You know, he's definitely getting some money behind
I can tell you this right now. Raymond James is a medium-sized financial company. The CEO makes $13 million a year. And this is public information. You can look it up.
How much?
$13 million a year. This is just what Raymond James pays him, and this is not including if he has other deals such as consulting deals with other companies and things like that, right? Like, look up how much CEO of Ford makes. They're in millions and millions. I think CEO of Ford is like north of 20 million or something ridiculous, right? So this this thing with CEOs making a lot of money.
I actually made a Google search for Buckley's net worth, and it's actually around 700,000.
It's impossible, bro.
But again, yeah,
that is fully impossible. It's his net worth that we can see. You know what I mean? Like it's just impossible. But the bottom line is, you don't become a CEO of a company unless you
bro, 225,000 just at Channel Advisor Corp. That's like
the net worth of Farley Jr. James Ford is $22 million as of 2023.
Yeah,
and that actually just came out yesterday.
So that's his net worth as far as we know. But remember, there's such things as offshores. When Panama Papers came out, the shit that Panama Papers showed was insane. Do you understand that? Because Ford company,
they're estimating his annual salary is more like between $500,000 to $700,000 from.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing, and like I don't know why. Because in America, if you're trying to dodge taxes, you want to be uber rich.
Yes.
You want to be making those 13,000, so the IRS agents can't have a field day with your taxes.
Mm-hmm. So. The point here is that
that's funny to think about.
So the point here is
I did find something that said that Tim Buckley is estimated to be 5 to 7 million like net worth.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's definitely in the fucking. He's managing $1 trillion company.
But you have to understand, the reason he's a CEO of Vanguard is because he can bring in the money, right? They won't make you or me a CEO of Vanguard because we don't have the connections. He has the connections, so he can bring in the money.
CNN CEO just got fired. He didn't bring in any money.
Well, CNN also is fucking losing their ass on everything, and they're trying to fucking fight YouTube, and unsuccessfully. The biggest.
That's another thing.
Because they have
all those fucking media companies owned by those two companies, BlackRock and Vanguard.
Yep. The only thing that I'll say that's good about CNN is the web interface is actually pretty good compared to Fox News.
Bro, Fox News, CNN News, any of those fucking news, Bay News 9, all of them. Give it another 10 fucking years.
If Bay News 9 is your independent local, then that's fine. But I would say stick to independent media, not like, alternate media, but independent.
If you're just trying to get like a view of the world, what's going on, that's fine, right?
So,
I will say CNN does give you an international option that you can choose to actually get international news comparative to most American outlets, which is all just American news.
Yeah. So is Bloomberg. If you look at Bloomberg lets you do that as well. Like,
don't you have to pay for Bloomberg?
It depends. It's definitely a cable news channel.
No, definitely not playing.
So yeah.
But like Axios, like things like that, there's also a bunch of independents out there that give you the world view on top of.
There's independent, you know what I mean? Like there's isn't that a news channel, independent?
Send it to the dogs.
Probably.
Yeah. So anyway, the point here is with news is a motherfucker, right? Like it's really hard to know who's who and why and what's going on in reality. Is this something they're just showing you? Because the truth is somewhere in between. Like, it's never fucking what they say it is, and it's always got a little fucking spin on it.
What has been one of the like biggest things we've seen like over the past few years? Clickbait. Like, that's like massive. You know what I mean?
Vice and BuzzFeed went under. They couldn't keep up anymore. Like the clickbait.
I mean, Vice is going bankrupt.
Yeah, I was gonna say Vice is fucked. I thought, right?
Vice is fucked.
But companies go bankrupt all the time.
Complex as well, right? Zeus, go. Complex as well. Didn't they get fucked?
I think Complex was a channel on Vice, right?
Was it? Oh, okay.
Vice went under. BuzzFeed is going under, and BuzzFeed.
Well, see, there's a difference between Vice and BuzzFeed. Vice is a little independent news channel that does a lot of different news.
Why do you hate Vice so much? So I personally,
I love Vice.
Vice documentaries are actually fucking amazing. These guys actually go
out.
I
enjoy Vice stuff. When they're actually
they go all over the place.
I was gonna say when they're actually out international doing stuff, I enjoy that stuff.
No, I do that stuff fine, but the stuff that I don't like.
That motherfucker went to Colombia and went in there and saw exactly how the coke was made and showed all that shit.
Dude. Motherfuckers go with Somali pirates, go into the camps and shit. They
go to Europe and talk to all the fucking different, drug people all over Europe, UK,
They cover the Middle East wars,
Spain,
too.
Everywhere, bro.
Yeah, no,
and they give a very human aspect to it.
That's fine.
That motherfucker be trying all the drugs. Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
That part is fine. The part that I think killed them was when they started chasing what's popular and going into the more polarized topics, such as the gender part, the men versus women, and this and that. I think this is what killed them. So.
I think they're just an independent news channel that's always been struggling. Even before they went and did all that shit, they were a skate channel. That they used to do a bunch of stupid shit. Hell, they still have channels on Vice that is stupid shit. A guy goes to the worst rated shit.
Yes, yeah. I like that one. I love that one. He gets tattoos done. He goes to worst rated barbershops or masseuses. He goes to a bunch of shit.
Dude got an actual tattoo from a 0.05 rated tattoo parlor.
And then he showed part of the bad experience, but then he also was open about it and showed the pretty human nice conversation he had with the dude during it. It was
because he wasn't going in just to trash. He was let me see why is people saying this is bad. And it's funny because you automatically assume the series is gonna be straight trashing it. Because what is it? Worst rated shit. Right. But he's actually just trying to shed light on sometimes it's worst rated. Yeah, because it's actually shit. I get it. But sometimes it's because people are fucking assholes. And just rate shit and put people down.
Well, no. What's his name? Anthony Bourdain said that Yelp should be fucking closed. Anthony Bourdain said that.
You're not a food critic, asshole. Simple as that. That's, yeah, I don't know how to put it.
And then because I've done Anthony Bourdain thing. Any city I go to, and I know if I had an episode, I would go to those specific restaurants.
Really?
Yeah, and a lot of those restaurants are 3.5 stars, 3 stars, and when you go there, the food is fucking good.
Yeah.
But people go in there and have either a bad experience with wait staff or see a bug on the floor, and then they'll rate it 1 star, 0 stars.
Cause that's why he said that.
But when
Yelp
the food's immaculate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he said Yelp should be fucking banned. Period. Because you can't rely on Yelp.
If you eat a steak past medium.
If you eat a steak past medium,
I'll just leave it there.
Most of my family's kind of crazy because they eat that shit well done.
Yeah, bro.
Well,
I didn't want to go at those people because they're the
No. Fucking jab at them. Uppercut them.
No, see, so
1, 2.
So here's the thing with
3-piece combo, bro. 3-piece combo.
So here's the thing with our families, especially coming from a foreign country, right? Back in the day, the sanitary levels were not that high, so you had to cook your fucking any kind of meat very well done. Otherwise, you're gonna get a fucking food poisoning.
Okay, bitch, but you're a Ruth Chris. Order your shit fucking rare.
They can, bro. They can. They see blood. They automatically align that with an idea that this food is undercooked disease. And is gonna cause them to get sick.
But for example, bro, I'm just saying, you tell me we're gonna go to this place, but every steak there is gonna be well done. I won't even fucking think about getting steak.
Well, yeah, no.
Ouch.
Well, that's because you understand that.
But I'm saying I understand it, but it's damn, okay, even if you have that mentality, right? You're damn, okay, the only way I'll eat steak if it's well done. It's okay, when you have a steak and it's well done, it's I don't even want this.
So here's another thing.
I don't even understand how they like steak at all. That's what I'm saying.
So here's the thing. Back home, they had this stigma against eating fish with any kind of dairy product. You take fish that gets rotten, gets spoiled quickly, and you take a dairy product that gets rotten and spoiled quickly. Back in the day, they didn't have fucking preservatives in any of those things. So they went bad really quickly. So if you combine those two together and you ate them, you're most likely to get fucking sick. Why? Because you fucking one went bad or the other one bad.
Things that were more likely to get you
sick. Bad.
It wasn't necessarily the mixture of the two. It's just because you made double risk.
Yeah. And now you get the same people that go to the restaurant. They'll order, let's say, trout. And a lot of times trout comes in with a caper, some sort of a caper sauce on top of it, and that sauce usually is dairy based, and they'll chum that shit down and no problem. But the minute you tell them that this was fish with milk, they're like, what do you mean? It was fish with milk. But yeah, that's a dairy product and a fish. You just ate it. Nothing wrong with that. But there was a fucking stigma against eating dairy with fish.
Hey Jay, what's a caper sauce?
Capers are these. They're these shrubs, right? That grow in this bush, right? These little tiny shrubs that grow in a bush, and they pickle them with a lot of salt. So they're very salty, and they add that. They have a little lemony profile to it. They add that to the fish or they add that to the food, and it gives it saltiness. Basically, that's what it is. It's like a little fruit of a bush. That's the best way I can describe it. Because they're not really like a fruit. They're kind of harder and they're green. And when they pickle them, they soak in all that salt. And when you add that to the sauce, it adds salinity to the sauce and other profiles, other flavor profiles.
Do you guys like green mangoes?
Depends with what. If it's a green mango with salt, I fucking love it. It's delicious.
Really?
Yes. Okay. And I just had those green mangoes with salt while we were walking around in Colombia on a street. They had the main avenue closed. You get to walk around and they have selling fruits and stuff. Part of it was the green mangoes with a little bit of salt on top, bro. That thing just... Because the green mango is really not delicious, but you add salt on top of it, you start tasting the sweetness of the mango.
Smacks.
Yeah. It's like, have you ever had chocolate with salt?
No, that's fucking weird.
When you eat pretzels with chocolate on them, what do you think you're eating? Chocolate with salt.
I don't care. That's fucking weird. You can keep it.
What? Chocolate covered pretzel? You never heard of that?
Chocolate? No, I'm talking about just salt and chocolate. No, you can keep it.
Have you ever had?
It's like the salty caramel with chocolate. Like that shit smells. Right. I ain't gonna lie.
Have you ever had grapes with cheese?
Grapes with cheese.
With cheese?
Any charcuterie board.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Any charcuterie board will have grapes and cheese.
I am looking forward.
What I love is cheese and like the guava paste. Oh.
Or that.
You know what I really like?
So how's chocolate and salt any different?
I get it. I'm not saying. Hey, it's Miggy.
That's Miggy's uncultured swine ass.
Dude, I like
having... Dark chocolate and salt?
Oh, yeah.
I like having charcuterie boards at the beach.
With the sand getting in your teeth? No, thank you.
Yeah, that sounds like a
dude, just chilling,
meal.
watching the sunset, maybe some chips. Then you can bring some ham,
and
some
this is
sushi,
why you don't have girls, bro, because
mangoes,
you're too damn romantic for them.
Bro, fire.
Yeah, but with who? Who are you eating this with? That's what I want to know.
The seagulls.
Hey, if that's who comes, that's who comes. It is what it is, you know?
Go to his mom. It's just the seagulls.
Hey, I could always bring my mom. She's always gonna be there for me. Although she says I got no hoes.
Yep.
The number one in your life.
But see, like,
the only true one that matters.
That's the thing, man. Like when you're nice to girls, it's just not gonna work. You bring in charcuterie on a first date, bro. It's most likely not gonna work. She's gonna think you're a simp. I'm just saying. She's gonna say, "Oh, that's so cute. He brought a charcuterie board."
Maybe I am a simp.
Yeah, well, girls don't like that, bro. Girls don't like that.
Girls don't like that?
No, hell no, they don't like that.
All right, man. What do girls like? I'm gonna put it. Ready? Okay.
Okay, tell me. I'm listening.
Excess effort is never attractive. Yes. In the sense that, and
of course,
at first,
nobody wants a stalker.
At first. Right,
going out of your way.
It seems obsessive when you've just met this person.
Of course,
yes.
Right.
Love bombing is always a turnoff. I will.
I'm gonna give
unless it's a toxic relationship.
Yeah, because
or you can love bomb in a way that they know, like you're just
ready.
They know you're doing this. It's not who you are. Then they'll be okay with that.
I can give my own.
Look at Andrew Tate. I mean, let's just.
I can give my own example, right? So we've told the story about how Emily asked the friend for the number and blah blah, and that's how I met her, right? But we haven't told the story about how like a month or 2 months into us dating, we broke up.
Yeah. And
then it was because I never had been in a relationship, and I never really had girls give me attention, so I was giving her mad attention, and she was like, "Oh, it's just kind of like too much." Right? I only got back with Emily because we actually saw each other at like a festival a week later after that. Like she went with her friend.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What festival was this?
At NC Spina.
I was there, motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean, I went like 3 times throughout like high school.
Yo, that's dope because I actually had one of the best times I've ever.
I always have a good time going there.
Dude, that was a good time.
What festival is this?
It's this festival they do in Coachman Park. And it's just basically like a bunch of Latin artists go over there, That year, fuck, I don't remember what they had that year. Like I said, I had.
So that year, if I remember correctly, they had J Balvin. They had Justin Quiles.
Yes.
They had Gilberto Santa Rosa.
But yeah, like I was saying, like I was giving too much attention. She found that I was unattracted. We had just started, and guess what? I flipped the fucking switch, and that shit kind of worked. And I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm not saying you have to do that either. It worked in my situation. What I'm saying is that you should be yourself. When you want to give the person attention, do so. But also you should try and double think situations when you just started with this person and be like, okay, am I being a little too much?
So don't act out of impulsiveness.
So I'm gonna. There you go. Try not to act out of impulsiveness when things are first starting out.
I'm gonna change all the actors of this situation. I don't want any names out there. I don't want to put anything. So actors of the situation, picture a car. There are two guys in a car and one girl. So the guys are sitting up front, the girl is in the back, and the girl is actually seeing one of the guys, right? So the guy that she's seen was driving the car. He gets out of the car to go get something. This is a real situation. I'm not naming names, right? Guy gets out of the car, and during that time while they were driving to where they need to go, they're all three of them are having conversation about relationships. And the girl is going ahead and saying, well, guys it's nice when the guys buy flowers and gifts and things like that. And they're kind of like going back and forth with this. So the guy pulls up where they need to go, gets out of the car. The other guy goes, listen, let me ask you a question. Now, this guy that you're with.
Makes you pissed off.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
So the guy, the guy that you're with, that just left the car. So you're saying that girls like flowers, girls like gifts, girls like attention, this, all these things. She goes, yes. He goes, the guy that just got out of the car, when was the last time he bought you flowers? When was the last time he bought you gifts? When was the last time he gave you a whole lot of attention? When was the last time he did this? So why the fuck are you with him? You know what I mean? So a lot of times what girls tell you and how they actually move are completely different, because I don't know, for whatever fuck reason, we promote our women to be politically correct. Now, I don't know if we promote them or this is just their nature, that they don't like conflict, but they say things that are usually politically correct, but 99% of the time, that's the complete fucking opposite. So you want to know what girls like? Do the complete opposite of what they tell you to do. Literally, like, obviously.
So this is not what. Okay, I don't agree with that last part. No. I was kind of like liking how he said just a lot, which I can agree with. That happens a lot.
I agree with the.
Not most, a lot. I can agree that happens, but then you fucked the last part. The whole last sentence you lost me.
And those like expectations, like the flowers, the attention, all that. Like maybe that was given in the beginning of the relationship and has peter off. Not but, even in the beginning. It's not that she doesn't still want that. If the dude turned around, gave her flowers and attention, she would fucking love it.
Yeah,
right.
But I feel like also
that was never a thing. That was never a thing.
See, influenced by others. For example, like they are a little jealous when they see other people getting it, and they're like, "Damn, my boyfriend doesn't." So
let me flip the switch here. Let me ask you a question. Which gender gets flowers more?
I never received flowers in my life.
So women, right?
I don't know what you mean, like
women. Which gender on average gets more gifts? Women. Which gender on average gets more trips? Get the trips paid for them? Women.
I don't know. I'm going to DR at the end of this month for free.
Yeah. Well, that's one trip out of how many that you've paid?
I mean, me and Emily are actually really
half
good.
And half. Okay, that's fine.
Not necessarily half and half. But like, if you were, for example, when it comes to trips, like we're spending a lot of money. Like we like to put in our own. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you were in a different financial situation, if you were in a different financial situation, would you pay for the trips?
Stop fucking with SoundCloud rappers. What can I say?
Hey, listen. So if you were in a different financial situation, would you pay more money for the trips, or would you cover the whole trip?
If I had money to do it, I'd pay for it all.
So thank you. That answers my question. So,
but I'm sure if she had money and I did it, she'd pay for it all.
Yeah. So if you go on a first date or the next consecutive dates, who usually pays for things? Usually.
Okay. If you're gonna ask me,
on how you is, if you got money.
I get that, but usually on average,
once we got more used to each other, we got kind of very open on like, hey, you have more money than I do right now. Kind of
but that's later.
You're more willing. That's later. But even
not necessarily. I would used to hit bitches up if I was broke. I would tell them I'm broke. They'd be like, "You want to do this? You want to do this?" Nah, I'm broke.
Well, yeah.
Like you don't get it. I'm broke, and they're like, "Nah, I'll pay for it." And then I'd go out. Yeah. I'd be like, "Sure, fuck it, whatever."
And there has been times
I get that. I get
right?
that.
But right, I'm gonna agree with you in the sense that even so, look, and I hate this about myself, and I do, and it's almost like an insecurity thing. It is. I'm not gonna say almost. It is that we'll go somewhere, we'll agree that I'm gonna let her pay,
and then you pay for it,
and I'll still do it.
Yeah.
And I'll still do it, knowing that it fucks my situation even more. She's more than willing to do it, and she's okay with, and like, yeah, all right, fuck it, the card, and I just do it, and it's. I swear to God, and I admit it's an insecure thing with like macho shit. Like I don't like other people
because
seeing.
You're afraid of being judged.
No,
no one gives a fuck.
Forget
no
that.
one gives a fuck. So I worked in that service. No one gives a fuck who paid.
It still happens
as long as you leave a tip, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah. No. That's fine. That's fine.
I know it. I know they don't.
Yeah, no, it's not the people. That's not the people.
For some reason, it just happens sometimes.
I understand. It's your own insecurity.
So wait a minute. I'm going with this somewhere. So if the girls...
Actually, I'll say this real quick before you move on. I also, and I'll say this with all humility, like I said, I do it with my insecurity. I also do it sometimes because it makes me feel good about myself. But it still also is a macho thing, but it makes me feel good about myself because I paid for my women.
Because you're providing for your woman.
Yes, that's
a normal
reason.
fucking thing.
That's another reason I do it sometimes. It shouldn't be an
insecurity. That's not an insecurity. That's not an insecurity. You're providing for the girl that you love and you respect.
Yeah, I guess you can say it's
not an insecurity.
Yeah, but having to feel like you're doing that, like having to feel this is a thing that has to happen.
So here's the thing.
I do it because I enjoy it when I.
So if you're gonna do something, do it. If you're gonna do something, do it unequivocally and don't count.
Let me say this.
Why you did it, right?
The whole insecurity thing with like other people because of the macho thing. That hasn't happened probably in the past couple of years in our relationship. That happened like in the middle 2 years. After a couple of years of us being together and we started going back and forth with pay, I would still do it sometimes because I felt insecure that other people were saying that she was paying for me.
No, that's dumb.
Right? But that doesn't happen anymore. Now I usually do it because I want to and it makes me feel good that I like.
Don't go out of the way to put yourself in a fucking bad situation by paying. Now, I'm not saying that you're fucking things up if you're going to put yourself in a bad situation and pay. But if you can pay, you can afford it, definitely pay. If you cannot afford it, then you're like, yo, I can't afford it.
When it comes to like giving people gifts, I'm my father's son.
So here's the thing. I'm going somewhere with this, right? So if on average, girls are the ones that receive more of that type of attention, wouldn't that believe to think that because they receive more of it, it's more of a normal thing for them? So by you doing these things, you're not really gaining any points with them.
Yeah,
not necessarily because I find myself to be in a nice situation where I feel like Emily's very appreciative.
No, you're saying that a lot of that's women. That's not what I'm talking about.
So I'm talking about in the beginning. A lot of the women get gifts like flowers.
No, just it's
in
usually
the beginning. I still feel like they're still very.
The guys will go out of their way in the beginning to do all this extra shit.
Emily, since even in the beginning, Emily was very like, I want to be like 50-50 on things. I used to pay for a lot of it, right? But she used to insist a lot too. Look at this way. When we first got together, when we would have Valentine's Day, Christmas, each other's, or something like that, where we're like doing gift trades, where it's not just like I'm getting you something, you're getting me. Oh my God. Get him something. What the fuck is this, bro? How many do you have, bro?
Yo, bro, I come prepared, goddamn.
Yo, let me get one, bro. This shit's fucking dead. This shit tastes like shit.
Zero Nick.
One is zero
get
Nick.
Better.
Let's go.
Breathe air.
Yeah, breathe air, guys.
Breathe air.
What was I saying? Look, when we got together, fuck.
Hashtag Andrew Tate. Breathe air, goddammit.
We're all about to hit these nicotine. Say breathe air.
Hey.
What's this?
He breathes cigars, so you know.
Look, like I was gonna say, when we were first together for the first few years, still in high school and shit, Emily used to feel bad for not, because I used to be very like thoughtful with my gifts. I had my sister there, which was a girl, to help me. I used to go with her ideas. I used to like I'd make shit. Like Emily has like a poster, like a little frame thing that has a bunch of pictures.
Yeah,
but I did the whole thing. and like be very thoughtful.
But you at least thought of getting the best product out of it.
Or back in the day,
that's what counts,
bro.
In
high school, I had 3 jobs. I used to make bank for what I was at that time with the truck. I didn't have no like that. My dad still would buy gas.
Emily's like, hell yeah, I got the fucking cream of the crop. Look at you now. Look at you now, Emily. What you got?
Look, and I used to buy her. Usually put you could say it, more money into the gifts, right? And so she used to feel bad. She used to feel bad. Damn, I didn't buy you something as nice. So I feel like there's still that there when the person's not trying to take advantage out of you, when they're straight up just trying to enjoy their time with you. That's gonna happen both ways.
You want me to tell you something about gifts about the guys
and say that
this is gonna happen in your life because all of us are gonna start making more money, right? Like all of us are gonna get successful one day. We're gonna be doing well. I already know this. Now, what's gonna happen as you start progressing in your life? You're gonna start buying these things that you really want for yourself, which inevitably is gonna put people that are around you into a very, very bad predicament because they're not going to know what to get you. And whatever they get you, you either already have a better version of that self or you don't really need it. This is what's going to happen. Now, with that being said,
the big question is, what do you do at that point?
Now, here's I'm going to tell you what you do at that point. Remember we did that Secret Santa?
Yeah.
Remember? And you were my Secret Santa. Yeah. I didn't know what you're going to buy me. The funny gifts, because the big gift you kind of select what you want and you know you're gonna get something. One of those.
You don't know necessarily. It doesn't have to be, but like it's a pretty good suggestion. People don't have to put too much thought in what someone actually wants, right?
But the one gift that you gave me, which I thought was fucking amazing, was that little fucking notebook. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would want to have something like that, but I would never fucking spend the money to get it. And you go out there and bring me that fucking notebook, and it's like, what color is your Bugatti? Bro, I was like, hell yeah, this is a fucking awesome gift. And guess where that notebook is? That notebook is on my fucking table. Every day, I fucking see it. And to me, that was a great ass fucking gift. Like, you know, my brother and his wife made a effort, and they got me an amazing gift for my birthday. And it was a gift that I would love if I didn't already have something that's out there. You know what I mean? And so what it does, it inevitably puts these people in a very, very tough situation. So what do you get them? At that point, you're going to have to start getting sentimental gifts. Not necessarily expensive, not necessarily what they might like, but they have to be sentimental. There have to be gifts that remind them of something. You know what I mean? That remind them of good times, bad times, whatever it is.
Hey, the best gift you can give is time, because that's a finite resource that you can never get back.
You know what I feel like is a good gift that links, you know, you give your time, you give someone a bottle of alcohol. Because it's like, here, I'm giving you this, but it's not like I'm just giving you this and that's it. No, I'm giving you this and we're going to sit down, we're going to have a drink.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
like that bottle of alcohol. That's a very, very old bottle of alcohol, but we brought it out, we cracked it open, we had a drink, and it's still there. Reminds me of all good times, and every time I drink out of it, I'm gonna remember it. That's a great gift.
That'll be our bottle for when we have shots on the street.
Yeah, the problem you're gonna run into is that, you know, when you have a bunch of things, it's gonna be very hard for people to buy you something. For example, now there's another situation. Somebody wanted to go on a trip. They didn't know how this is going to happen, and they got a gift to go on a trip. You know what I mean? And even though they could bought the trip, they're like, nah, I'm not going to do this. But they ended up getting that trip. And that means a lot for this person, because now they can look forward to spending time with the people that they love at this trip. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. So it doesn't necessarily have to be fucking expensive. It just have to be something thoughtful, right? Yeah. So, and for girls, like, you know, and if you have a sister that can help you.
I love gag gifts. I ain't gonna lie.
Gag gifts are fun.
Like, for example, the book. Your brother, for my birthday last year, he got me the water gun.
Yeah.
That stuff is really cool. It doesn't have to be expensive. I think it just has to be something that either can create a laugh or whatever it has to be.
And you have to put thought into the gag gift, because like you get some random item that doesn't mean anything, whatever, but you get something that's kind of related to an inside joke or something that connects to that human side.
I think I'm a pretty good gift giver. Like, I pick pretty good gifts if I put fucking time and effort into it. If I don't put time and effort, like, I love seeing, because my friend Ozzy, everybody knows Ozzy can pretty much afford whatever he wants. He's doing really good for himself, and I'm super happy for it. For the longest time, he wanted this fucking cologne.
1 second, go to Vitality.
Yeah.
If you're not, even if you're feeling good, feel better.
Yeah. Go to Vitality. Don't be a lame. Go to Vitality. If you're in this area, go to fucking Vitality. So for the longest time, he wanted this cologne that I have, and I wear it. He's like, "Oh my god, it smells so good, And I knew his birthday was coming up. I was like, "Bro, I'm gonna buy him that fucking gift." But throughout that time, I was there with him. He walking into the stores where they produce the cologne. They're like, "Do you have this?" They're like, "No, we don't have this." Him going to these places. He could have bought that gift so many times, and it just so happened that he wasn't able to find it and buy it. And when I gave it to him on his birthday, he was fucking happy as shit, even though he can afford 10 of those. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of like you knowing exactly what they want, and all you have to do at that time, put notes in. Like, you know, you take these mental notes of what people like.
It's the small things.
Yeah. 100%. Because it means that you fucking actually listen.
Yeah,
you
you're showing you're connected to someone in a deeper way than that shallow shit that everyone's into nowadays.
Yeah, give her a Gucci flip-flop.
Shallow or fake.
Gucci flip-flops.
Like, I would prefer my friends to hurt my feelings over trying to protect them, you know?
What?
Like,
really?
Yeah.
It's like how you say you should tell your friends when they're fat, they're fat.
Yeah. Well,
like,
no, for sure, because your friends see it from the side when you're fucking up.
It's like,
Alex, you're an ugly, sexy piece of shit.
Thank you.
That was an ass backwards compliment. That's a kind of a compliment your grandma would give to you. You know what I mean? She would like,
look, I can give the perfect example of like me and Rodolfo, right? Like every time I see him and we talk about our shit, like it is a straight unfiltered opinion. Like right away, we know we're not sugarcoating anything. We're telling like, hey bro, like why you let that happen, or why did this go down,
right?
Or you should be doing this.
Well,
like, you know you should be doing, right? Like if you can't do that, what the fuck is it for?
Yeah. And that's and I think like, you know, you get that more within guys. I think that happens more with guys. That doesn't
and I've
happen
noticed
as much
this,
with
and I'm
girls.
sorry to say, and I've noticed from my personal like anecdotal experience, it is true that guys retain relationships a lot more often than girls do.
Yeah.
When it comes to friendships,
and you know what's a red flag? Let's talk about red flags.
And I'm sorry to say this, and it's from what I've asked. Girls say it. It's kind of just because because when you talk to some girl, you already know automatically, like right away, she's like, well, that fucking bitch right behind her back.
Right.
It's like, well, then if you guys know you're like that, stop being like that.
Like, I have friends that I've had since college that I still keep up with, like, almost on a daily basis. But, like, my wife, she has, like, these groups of friends that comes and goes, right? And when they go, she shows me, like, everything that happened, what broke down. I'm like, well, yeah, they're just being fake as fuck. And because she's different. She wants that realism. She wants to be told, yo, I don't want to hang out with you today. Because she's the kind of person that's like, yo, I don't want to fucking go out today. So she'll tell you outright.
So there's one red flag. Anytime you date a girl, Miggy, this is for you. Anytime you date a girl,
I'm listening, man. I'm white and clear.
That doesn't have a core group of girlfriends.
You got your Bugatti notebook?
And always has issues with the other girls. It's a fucking red flag. Because the only one factor in this thing is her, right? Like if a girl doesn't have a core group of friends, or at least one or two friends that have always been there, and she constantly changes her friend group of females and constantly complains how much of bitches the other females are, I think that's a girl that's a red flag that you need to watch out for. Here's another red flag, bro. You start dating a girl, ask her to show you her Bluetooth history.
Oh, you're trying to see how many cars she's been in?
That's it. How many cars she's been in, and if they are foreign. If the cars are foreign, bro, that's a red flag. Stay away.
If you get in there and it's like just a bunch of Mercedes and BMW,
Lambo here and there, you know what I mean? You know what you're getting into already.
No,
hey, it's a game. You gotta play it.
Wait. If she's Lambo, if she's getting in Lambos, if she's that class of,
yeah, she ain't gonna be with him, but.
She to the point where you can look at her phone and like,
no,
shit,
I'm not saying don't
smash.
Don't smash. I'm not saying don't smash, but don't be serious.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Trying to say don't cuff.
No, yeah, don't cuff. Yeah. You definitely smash, bro. You crazy? You got to smash. I mean, you can't smash.
If she's getting in Lambo, she's gotta be a bad bitch.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't smash all the women in the world, but you have to strive for it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is just, bro, come on. You know, but another red flag. She got a Nissan or a Kia, bro. I'm telling you, that's a red flag. You just stay away from that. Like you still smash, but you stay away from it. You know. You know, if she has a lot of guy friends, red flag. You take her to a place, she knows the owner, the bouncer, the bartender, gives everybody hugs, some random dudes, bruh, red flag. I'm sorry, but these are the things you have to watch for. You know what I mean? These are.
You imagine you're on a first date with a girl walking around downtown, and you're like, after the date, you're holding your hand, like out of nowhere, some fucking bouncer pops up, and she's just like goes give him a hug, and she comes back trying to hold your hand, like.
Bitch. Yeah. Or another thing I love when a girl will sit down and is like, oh yeah, I've done this, I've gone there, I've done this, I've gone there, and you know definitely she don't got that kind of money. Bitch, who'll be paying for it? Who's taking those photos in your Instagram?
Hey, you just judging people for they hustle before you got there.
I'm not judging.
You want to be judged for your hustle?
No. I'm not judging him. I'm not judging him at all.
He's still smashing.
Yeah, I'm still smashing. But don't come out here and tell me that you're the Virgin Mary when that entire town ran through you. You know what I mean?
No, if they being
be honest
like
in
that,
the front.
that's
you know?
different. Yeah,
just be honest in the front. Yeah, I'm the town bicycle. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets to ride it. Cool.
And you're like, me too. Let's just go. Fuck all these formalities and let's go get what we need.
Exactly. And we just call it that, you know. But then a lot of them pretend to be Virgin Marys because it's time for them to get cuffed and have a family and kids and this and that. So now they want to be Virgin Marys. Fuck that. That don't play. So these are red flags you got to watch out for, Miggy. And if you tell her, let's go on a picnic, and she says, I don't do picnics, that's another red flag. Or let's go have one drink and an appetizer. I don't do that.
Shit, I don't know. I don't do picnics.
What? I fucking love picnics.
When I'm talking about picnic, I mean something that's cheap, quick, and easy. And she says no to that. That's a red flag.
No, I don't do picnics because they're fucking cheap. I do them because they're fucking. I genuinely enjoy them.
Like I get it. Sit down in nature, but it's when you add the food element to me. There's just so many variables. Like,
and it's
are there
August
bugs getting in my food? Like, even though bugs are already in our food, but like you know. Like, I don't want more that are alive.
Stop being a pussy.
Is it and plus, is it August in Florida? Is it July in Florida?
That's protein.
Fuck that. Fuck that. I've done a picnic once.
There is a theory being fought that we should start consuming more bugs than meat because that will actually help with global warming and cut down on
Yeah, why do you think Jay was in Colombia eating fucking ants?
We can mass produce bugs a lot quicker.
That's funny. My dad one day he tells the story like.
Well, they're already saying McDonald's meat has warm meat in it, so.
I mean, the FDA lets a lot of bugs, like more bug particles than you think would be allowed in just common foods.
Yep. You know So my dad said they were sleeping one day in the room, and he's sleeping. And my mom, I guess, woke up and she saw an ant on the ceiling and screamed because of an ant on the ceiling. And my dad is one of those people that's skittish when he wakes up. Even if you go up to him and you're just like, Eddie, like,
boom, what's going on?
He's like, what happened? Why are you gonna wake me up like that? And it's like, dude, what the fuck you want me to do? Fucking rub a feather on you? Like, he's so like skittish, right? And it's gotten to the point where like, if I have to wake him up, I'm just like, he's gonna be mad regardless. So I'll just, Eddie, get up, like dad, like whatever. And anyways, she screamed. He got pissed. He's like, "What the fuck's going on?" The analyst said he got so mad. He got up, grabbed that shit, ate it. It was like
that's some baller shit.
And he's like, "That's nothing. That's fucking nothing." Like goes back to sleep. You fucking serious? He woke me up.
And I bet your mom loved every single second of it. If you doing that,
she's probably disgusted.
Yeah, but she loved it.
Emily screams a roach. You picking that shit up and swallowing it?
No, my shoe coming off. Come here. I'm fucking that bitch up.
I'm one of those people that I can deal with whatever around me. Like, of course, yeah, there's fucking bugs in my room, right? I'm fucking dying, right? But like, if we're outside and we're just chilling and a roach walks by, I'm not putting in energy to fucking get up and smash him.
I'm in your domain right now. I'm outside.
Yeah, I'm
so
outside.
I ain't fucking with
I'm
your
in
shit.
your domain. I kind of feel like that.
If
right?
that bitch crosses right
but
in
you
front of
come
me,
in my house,
I'm stepping on it.
Bro, I'll be honest with you. Even if I'm walking around, unless I'm in my little kidness, where like when you're a little kid and you just walk on the fucking stone for no reason, kind of thing, and jump on that rock for no reason. Unless I'm in that mood, he's gonna keep going. Like I really don't give a fuck.
Well, no, I get the point. When those motherfuckers live rent free in your house, that's kind of a little bit like it's like it's a slap in the face. You know what I mean? Like, bitch, I've been working really hard to pay for rent, and you motherfucking ass living rent free.
Oh my god, I can't remember who it is, but I feel like there's this comedian. He got this bit about the fucking roach in the wall, kind of like making fun of him, like I'm like just chilling there, fucking rent free.
Yeah, bro.
Making fun of me, sucking up my good air.
There was a chick that I was smashing once back in the day that I stayed at her house, and I was dead asleep. Started feeling something crawling up my chest. It was a fucking huge roach. I was like, the fuck, and then it was like, I gotta go. See ya. This bitch got roaches. Never again.
You want to hear You want to hear a nastiest story out of the restaurant I've ever had? Nastiest story. And this is working in a restaurant. So I get this table. Gentleman and a lady come in, and gentleman had dreadlocks. And as they're sitting at the table, I kind of like looked over his head for whatever reason. I don't remember why. And I see something like moved, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And I look around a little more. I was like, "Oh, maybe I just saw something." Leave, come back. Doing my thing, and then for whatever, at this point I'm like, bro, I saw some move, so I was kind of like paying more attention, and a motherfucking bug came out of his dreadlock, went into the other dreadlock. That was like the pinnacle of the restaurant shit. Like, and this is restaurant, bro. Like, that was the thing for me, and I was like, God damn, like, how do you not know this? You know what I mean? Like, you got a whole nest.
I work in construction, right? And so I've had days, right? And I have like, you guys seen my fro of hair, right? And sometimes I don't wear a hat to work, and doing the windows and shit.
I don't got that problem.
And yeah, but like I'll come home and I've like gone to shower or gone to like shake my head out in the garage. So I'll do that sometimes just because if I know if it was like a really like dusty day or whatever, and I'll see an ant fall out or whatever it is because it's just like a fucking bush up there, but. He gets out within 24 hours. Like, he's out of there.
No. Yeah, he's not living.
It's not 24 hours. Sorry, I go to work, so between 12 to 8 hours, he's out of there.
Do you know that in our lifetime, we eat about 5 to 6 spiders?
I've heard of that, but I've also heard that's bullshit.
They say because of the vibration in your throat when you're snoring, that attracts spiders, and they'll crawl in your mouth, and you'll just end up eating them.
I also heard something about studies linked that being a mouth breather and like breathing with your mouth open when you're sleeping and stuff like that can cause like this not jaw disfiguration but facial features
for disfiguration
that are actually considered less attractive.
So I did receive my little monitoring device. It's the first step in becoming bionic. Android, so I'm gonna monitor.
It's
my
on
sleep.
The way.
No, I got it today, so it's on.
I'm saying full Android is on the way.
Yeah, full Android is on the way.
Lungs are coming next.
Now, I don't know if I would want to do that.
He was living rent free in the dreadlock man.
He was living rent free what?
In the dreadlock.
He was living. Who was that? Who said that?
Jamie.
Yeah, he was living rent free in the dreadlock for sure. Yeah, so I it's going to be the first thing in that. And then I'm going to try to see if I can start taping my mouth. Because apparently taping your mouth helps as well. And I've noticed...
you sleep with your mouth open when you're...
I've noticed by chewing on that thing, I haven't really lost any weight. But I'm getting a different facial structure.
That much?
I'm getting a different facial structure by just chewing and exercising the muscles in my face. Yeah. And it's easier for me to breathe now.
Really?
Yes. Like, especially in jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, I don't use my mouth as much. It's more of like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm more of a nose breathing.
You roll Monday through Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Like, religiously?
Well, no, not Tuesdays and Thursdays now because we got the pod. So I don't do Tuesdays and Thursdays because we have the pod. Okay. Yeah, otherwise I would need to go there only for the fundamentals class. And during fundamentals class, I don't get to roll. It's just more practice.
Yeah, it's just
I like to roll at the end. So I usually try to stick to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Sunday when I'm with you guys.
Okay,
so 4 times. Now it's down to 4 times a week. Used to be 6 times a week. Now that it's 4 times a week, which I think is probably good for my body too, because it gets to recover.
Yeah, and you're getting days in between. It's smart.
Yep.
I can't wait for Sunday. It'll be fun. As last week.
Speaking of mixed martial arts, Saturday.
I knew it.
Jay
I knew you were gonna say it.
Should live stream the Nunes fight and tell how he would beat her in the match.
So you're saying fight companion? When you start doing fight companions, Joe Rogan style? That'd be funny.
Listen.
The double champ, Amanda Nunes. I just wanted to put that out there.
I don't know. Maybe.
So when we're there sitting out watching the fight, and she knocks out Irene out, beam. I'm just gonna scream, "Jay's down! Jay's down!"
You think she's gonna knock her out?
I don't know. I'm saying if she does.
I don't think. I think she's gonna win.
Yeah, I don't know what her camp's been.
I think she's gonna win by a rear naked choke.
So from what?
I think
really?
she's gonna take it by a rear naked choke. Yeah.
Oh, that's a pretty exact prediction. I don't know.
It's gonna be either a rear naked choke or an armbar.
Apparently, Aldana was supposed to be the original opponent because she was gonna fight. Like, if you look online, the original card was supposed to be her against Juliana Pena again, right? And that got canceled, and then Irene got put on.
Juliana from California.
Juliana Pena is the fighter's name. Not sure
Juliana.
where she's
It's
from.
not that Juliana.
She just looks like another like a Latina fighter. Latina fighter.
I mean, Irene is a striker, so I would say that Nunes is doing a striking camp, and it's gonna end in knockout.
What they're saying there?
No, that's just the gentleman's name. How you doing?
What's going on? Who? Hey, thanks for joining the pod. What's the gentleman's name?
Miguel Sanchez.
Miguel Sanchez. Thanks for joining the pod. But yeah,
so this weekend is nice. So we got Beneil and Beneil Dariush.
That's gonna be an interesting fight, man.
Bro, I'm going with Charles, man. I'm sorry. Just you look at the past fights they've gone through.
You know what? I think Charles might win because I think he learned his fucking lesson of not fucking showing off anymore. Because I haven't been seeing clips with him fucking petting tigers and shit and going all to rodeos and stuff like that. He's the champ though,
and he knows that when he gets people behind him, it's like, look, when you're as a champ, you think differently because you're looking at pay-per-view, right? Like for example, it's a little bit like off, but like for example, you think of the Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman fight. You watch that little insider camera view of when Kamaru went across the cage after the fight, after everything was determined, and he went up to Kobe, and Kobe goes up to him. You know, it's all love, man. I'm just like making the money for you. Because Kamaru's the champion, he gets pay-per-view buys.
Yes,
right. Kobe gets none of that. He's selling for him, and it's really like if you think about it, yeah, he says a bunch of fucked up shit, but guess what they did? They went up to each other at the end. It's all love and
so apparently Colby Covington is nothing like what they show him on pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, no. For example, you look.
I believe it.
You look at what he used to be like before that, and it's completely different. They told him he was winning his fights, but they were telling him, "We're gonna drop you. You're too like boring." It's like, what the fuck? All right, let's talk some shit. I would too.
Right?
I would start talking some shit.
I mean, shit. If you look at a lot of popular media nowadays, it's just people that might not have made it in like that news media, so they just started talking shit, and they got a huge following. But like when their real personal lives come out, they don't believe any of the shit they say.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Who's that? Who was that?
Anali, I think.
Arnaldi?
No. Anali, Anali.
What's up, Anali? So yeah, so
it's a small card though. For a fucking pay-per-view.
It is a small card. And not
2 early prelims, 4 prelims, and then 5 matches.
Talking about eggs, I know this is fucking something completely unrelated, but apparently in the United States we wash our eggs with chlorine or some sort of a washing, some sort of a solution, and apparently that solution is the reason if you put the eggs on a counter they're gonna go bad. When in foreign countries people put the fucking eggs on a counter, nothing wrong with that, but apparently it's the difference is the solution that they fucking wash the eggs in. To me, that's crazy.
That is really crazy because you think about it. Where are eggs when they're hatched? Like they just sit outside. Like
shit. Yeah. We could ask Justin on this one because motherfuckers said he's getting eggs on top of eggs now.
Yeah, Justin, is that true that if you like store-bought eggs you can't leave outside because can't leave on the counter or whatever because of that reason? I wonder if Justin's even here.
No, we'll ask him next time. But I think that's what it is. Like, because I've seen people outside of the United States leave them on a fucking counter. And when you ask them why, they're like, well, what do you mean? Where else do you leave your eggs? I'm like, in the fridge? Like, no, you're fucking crazy.
But anyways, the champ thing, they make more money. So it just kind of has, like, that incentive where they kind of just want to, like, be big. So that's why Charles was, like, doing that. Trying to make people buy. Because that backs his money. Right now, what is Charles trying to do? Get back to being champ. So right now, the focus is on being the best he can. Alex, you need a hat. Why?
Alex, you need a hat. Why do you need a hat?
My hat days are over.
Why would he need a hat?
Because he's balding? Is that a backwards way of saying he's balding?
Why do I feel like Arthur is behind this incentivized comment?
Yeah, it probably is.
Hey. Right?
Arthur, you need to shave your head, bro. be a man.
Hats pull follicles out.
Anyway, guys, so it's been, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes, guys. Another great pod. We've had some good combos. So wait for it. Sunday. So, guys, this Sunday, we're going to go our first live this Sunday at 3 p.m. We'll put that again on our Instagram and promote it through that. So this Sunday, we're going to do again 3 p.m. And I think that's going to be the new schedule. Sunday, 3 p.m. And every 3 Sundays, we're going to try to do a Spanish version. So this is coming as we've been promising. We want to kind of like we're now in the second gear, right? We're in the second gear trying to shift to third, right? So stay tuned, guys. This Sunday, another pod at 3 p.m. And this Sunday is going to be an English version. Maybe next Sunday we'll try it in Spanish, right? So there we go.
You guys have a good night. Thank you, Alex, coming in again. And everybody in the chat, appreciate you guys for coming in. Arthur shaped the parts of his body, not just his head. Y'all have a good night. Love.
Chill. Peace.